Hello, everyone. Before we get started on this week's episode, just a quick word that YouTube, in all its infinite wisdom, has decided that some of the Die Party games are now not suitable for advertising. It doesn't mean a whole lot for the content. I'm not going to censor the videos in any way, but if you'd like to lend your support so that Die Party can continue to grow, please check out the Patreon or subscribe on the Twitch channel. Enjoy the episode. Why, hello there, internet people. Welcome back for another week of sequential week, I might point out, of Die Party Dead Man's Crest, a weekly shadow. A weekly Savage
Just
World
pack it up.
Deluxe.
Just pack it up. We're leaving.
Look, man. Look, I have the vocal habits now because of how much I play other games and how little I play this one. Okay. But hey, everyone, welcome. It's good to have you here. It's good to be back for another week of sweet pirate on pirate action. Let's go around and introduce everyone who'll be playing with us today. Obviously, Eugene is out because he had a work emergency where they basically said, "Yo, you're staying here or else we're gonna fire you." No, they probably didn't say that, but you know. He has obligations to real life, and a lot of us don't have that same obligation. You get the idea. You, Prylor, my man. What up?
I'm Prylor.
How you
I
doing?
play. I mostly stream on other people's channels right now because
Sweet.
I'm.
That's a good habit if you don't want to give up, if you don't want to grow at all. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Wow, what a fucking backhanded.
It's true.
No,
though.
it's totally true.
It's fucking true. I mean, people are like, "Yeah, I know that guy," but then they never fucking follow your channel.
Yeah, it's like, oh, Prylor's on Henley's channel. I love that guy, or Bacon's, and then I'm just like, you can follow me. I stream
It's
too.
like, no.
But like I said, I haven't been streaming lately. I keep on saying that I'm going to. I just fucking need to find a game that I really want to stream. I tried.
Are you thinking about getting a Monster Hunter World?
I don't know. It doesn't look that interesting to me.
Really interesting. Like, have you played a
Maybe
Monster Hunter World game? A Monster Hunter
I have
game
not.
before? Okay, that's interesting. Well, I'll tell you what. There's a beta going on 4 days before it launches on the PS4. Do you have a PS4?
I do not.
Okay, well,
I'm PC
that's
only.
sort of the barrier for entry right there. So you know, it'll come out in August for PC basically. So.
Okay.
But I mean, I'm getting together a crew of mad lads to play that game. Spooty and me and maybe Floof are looking to slap and tickle that monster, you know. So
Yeah, I don't know. I've never been into games where you have to attack something repetitively over and over.
so
Games
all
like that.
games.
No.
Okay,
That's why I like multiplayer games where we all have the same health and you just kill each other.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't like the idea of, I don't know, something like say Dark Souls or whatever that has it where you have to dodge, hit, do very little damage, dodge, hit. And I know you love these games, but that's just not, I don't know. I never found it like, it's challenging, yes, but it's not fun challenging to me.
Okay.
I
Well,
don't know.
give me an idea. What is? You come home from work, Mr. Prylor. You kick off your working boots. You
Oh,
put
I love
on
a good
your
RPG.
you put in your sweet booty hat, and then you do what? What do you play?
Oh, okay. So, oh man, that's what I said. I haven't been playing anything lately, but I do like RPGs, like I don't know.
Okay.
I like the old Mass Effects,
Okay, you
the
like
older Mass Effects,
yeah,
type of
okay.
those type of games.
But they have
I don't know.
enemies in there that you have to shoot repeatedly.
Not as much,
I mean, sure.
but I don't know. Maybe it's different because it's, I don't know. I just feel, I don't know. I don't like games where you have to shoot things a million times. compared to them hitting you once or twice and you're dead.
Okay. I mean, sure. It's weird. That's a weird one.
I play a lot of the games for their story value mostly. If it's not, say, a multiplayer game where we're just equal and we kill each other.
Okay. Oh, there you go.
That's
Well,
like when we played, what was it, the Divinity, the new one. I was okay with playing it on like the easiest mode because I wasn't like, I liked the mechanics. The mechanics were cool, but I'm just more interested in stories, like the story mode thing. I can play games on that and just be satisfied. Though I do like challenge every once in a while, but I just like the stories.
Wow, that's totally the exact opposite idea I had of you, by the way.
Yeah.
Like I imagine you're like a, you know.
I think it's fun.
You pick up The Witcher and you're just like, I'm gonna play it on the hardest difficulty. You know,
I get that mindset to be like, oh, it's gonna be cool because I'm gonna die a bunch and I'm gonna like it, and then I just get fucking frustrated when I'm hitting a dude that's regenning more than I can possibly ever do any damage to, and then I'm like, okay, let's turn down the difficulty because I'm not having fun anymore. It's just, I don't know, it gets a bit ridiculous with some of the games. But that's me. Yeah, you can follow me and watch me play easy mode games. Hey. Or multiplayer games.
If you like trash, prylord.tv. Speaking about trash, James, how you doing?
Every time. Whatever. I'm not trash. Thank you.
Welcome back.
English.
This is your first game of 2018 in Savage Worlds or Dead Man's Crest. So what's going on, man? It's been a while.
Maybe Dead Man's Crest, but not Savage Worlds. No, I've played a bit of Savage Worlds earlier today. What's going on?
This man, he's a legend. What's been going on, man?
I had to work last Wednesday because I needed money.
Yeah.
40 quid. I'm not going to moan at that. Or £48 extra in my pocket. I'm not going to complain.
Fuck yeah.
Other than that, motor shopping stuff. Been playing a bit of Warhammer 2, whatever it's called, Total War thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's quite fun.
I didn't feel... Again, I didn't think you would be the same type of man that would be like... I'm into RTS games, because you don't seem like an RTS kind of guy.
RTSs are awesome.
You know, I'm massively into Warhammer. I mean, like, massively into Warhammer. Well, yes, wasted a lot of money on that fucking beast.
Warhammer's one thing.
Miniatures. Over the years. What else? That's really about it. I haven't really done much. This week or next week is when we're really I'm really kicking off everything. Everything's kicking off in gear. So yeah, I do stream as well occasionally. Yeah.
Probably stream more than me.
I haven't since Christmas really. I've played odd games here and there.
I've done it like once, so.
Yeah. But yeah, other than that, I'm eager to play this. I've been looking forward to playing Dead Man's Crest for ages. It feels like it's been a long time since I last played it. Probably before Christmas.
When was the last time James played it? Was it that
Christmas.
return thing that we had before Christmas? I think it was, yeah.
I mean, when you say before Christmas, it was like it might have been in November for as far back as it was, honestly. It might have been the end of November.
That's an excited dog.
He jumps. That's what he does. I'm trying to get him to calm down. Vernon, stop being a
But yeah,
butthole.
boring life. I'm also now known as James Corp, not James UK, like it says below me. Ignore that. Other than that, that's about it, really. I'm looking forward to playing Dumb Stone and finding out why I jumped down a fucking chasm.
Because you weren't here. That's what happens. Wreckage just gets to control you, dude. Speaking about Wreckage, hello.
Hi.
What you been up to, man?
Doing a bunch of governmental paperwork.
Fuck yeah. Fuck the man, right? Yeah.
What? No. If I'm doing their paperwork, I'm not fucking them at all. They're fucking me. And
Ah,
I'm going to their building in the middle of my day and waiting around for the privilege of it.
he's like, so are you here for the fucking? It's like, yes.
Are you here to be bent over this stool?
Please go over to line 27 and bend over in the required spot, please.
Yeah, that's pretty much been my fucking biz. And then of course we can't have a single show go up apparently that has all of its players in it.
Well, it's the start of the year. People have got obligations.
It's it's the holidays, it's the start of the year, it's the beginning of spring, it's the end of spring, it's the beginning of summer, people want to get out and they want to do stuff,
It
it's summer.
happens to be a Wednesday,
What can you expect? What can you expect when it's summer? And now it's fall, people are going back to school, and hey, it's the holidays. What do you expect from people?
Apparently,
It's my birthday. It's his birthday. It's your birthday.
I'd still plan my birthday, you goober.
Dave doesn't celebrate anything.
No.
He holds no gods, not even himself.
Mm-hmm. It's actually pretty easy in my life because my wife is like, 5 days off my birthday, so we're just like, fuck it. Want to do a thing? Do it together. Because that's how we roll. But yeah, you been playing anything recently, Wreckage, at all?
Path of Exile, Magic the Gathering, Ruiner.
How is Magic these days?
Unstable was really great. Ixalan was sort of a poor limited environment. Rivals of Ixalan is coming out this weekend, so we're hoping that that'll fix the limited environment.
Man, every time I talk to someone about Magic, it's like, yeah, this weekend they're having another pre-release. I'm like, fucking what?
They have a pre-release every 3 months. I mean,
yeah, I know, but
they release 4 things a year, so it's like
I feel like every time I talk to someone, they're releasing another pre-release. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and
what exactly is Magic the Gathering?
it's a trading card game.
Trading card game.
So you play that in person?
You can also play it online.
The online version isn't nearly as good.
No, it's better.
What?
Yeah.
You like it more?
You might be thinking of like Duels of the Planeswalker or one of those stupid like video gamey versions that they released.
They get caught up way too much in like the minutia of the turn order. When you're playing in person,
that is legally how you have to play. If you're not doing that in person, you're playing a games rule violation.
No, I get that, but you can be like in person and I attack with these monsters and play this. But in like Magic the Gathering Online, you have to be like, okay, the specific turn. Like if you have a strategy in your mind, you have to play it on a particular phase, and if you get it wrong, you fuck up your entire strategy. But in person, in paper, there's a lot more like if you want to do it before you apply damage, you can just say it, right? But in the online one, you have to like be very particular about when you play the card. And that's the difference that I find.
If you play competitively in paper, you also have to do it at the exact right time. They won't let you just say it. So it's the same thing. The reason why the game works that way is because it's competitive online. You actually have to pay to play it. So there is no like relaxed, casual version online where you can just be like, yeah, I want to do this in my first main, attack like this, and then play this in my second. You have to do everything at the right time.
Okay, well, sure.
Yeah, no, I mean, I understand what you're talking about. It is hard to learn at first to do it correctly, but once you do, it's not that annoying. There's a bunch of convenient skips, like F6 skips the rest of the turn, F3 skips until response. Like if you learn all of the hotkeys, then it goes.
All you need to know is that Magic the Gathering paper is different to Magic the Gathering online, in my opinion. Like like the mindset that you need to be in order to enjoy that game is different.
I'm not even sure how it works, but like, so I got a question. So it's a trading card game. How does trading the cards work?
Well, if you need a card like for your deck, because it's like you basically play a deck with 60 cards, and you can go into a shop and say, I need this specific card, because you can only, depending on what type of game mode you're playing, you can only have 4 of that type of card in your entire deck. So in order to make up, what you need, sometimes you're missing a card, so you can go into like a game shop, local game shop, and you can buy singles, or you can trade with other players.
So you can trade, like, say you have more of a common card and you need more of a rare card. You can be like, here's 4 common.
It
Well, so
really
common
depends
cards?
on what the
people are
person
unlikely to
wants.
say yes to that. At the point that Magic the Gathering is at, each individual card has a monetary value,
Yep.
a resale value. So when you go to trade with someone, they will open up a thing, they will see how much that card is valued at right now, and then they'll say, all right, I will take 4 other cards that have the same monetary value. Like,
Yeah, the other thing
together.
is worth pointing out
Yeah,
too.
together,
Like you
combined.
can go into a game store. Like generally, the way that people play Magic the Gathering, in my experience, and trade is they do a draft, which is like you open a pack, take 1 card, pass that deck to the person on your left, and then they pick a card, blah blah blah. And at the end of the night, you'll have like 40 odd cards that are like randomly selected for your deck, right? And what I used to do, I used to play drafting so much in person that I would take those cards and give them to the owner and say, how much is this worth? And then he would give me money back for those cards. It was normally wasn't a lot. Maybe it was like enough for another booster, but then you'd bring that booster to the next draft and cost you less money. That sort of stuff. So like by trading, it's like cardboard has a piece of monetary value. Like for example, when I started playing, they had mutavaults and stuff like that in rotation, and those cards are worth like $80 for a single card, because they're so fucking rare. And I happened to get a foil mutavault, and the guy gave me $150, and it cost me $8 to play the fucking game. So, like there are certain cards that are worth a lot more than others. So if you happen to get one of those, that's the whole definition of that trading card aspect, I guess.
right. You are playing a
put
game
off
and at the
Magic.
same, yeah.
I got put off Magic. Now, I remember when I started Magic, it was like pre-internet or very early days of the internet, so no one had internet, and there was no like resources you could look at.
No net decking, you mean?
No, whatever. But so I didn't have a clue what the cards meant, and I went around an ex-friend. He's not a friend anymore, obviously. A school friend.
Because of Magic.
Well, no, he's just a dick.
You
but,
net decking
yeah.
motherfucker. You didn't make that
and
deck.
Obviously, I didn't understand rarities or anything, because it was 4th edition or 5th edition. Ice Age had just come out, so it's like 94. And he swapped all my rares for a bunch of his commons, basically, and I didn't know.
That fucking cunt. Wow.
Yeah, so I just ended up with a load of rubbish. I didn't, because I was like, no, I don't want to do it because I don't know what this all means. And he was like, oh no, look, I won't screw you over. He screwed me over.
Yeah, fuck that guy.
Hence ex-friend. And he just put
He
me off
basically
Magic
just
forever.
robbed you, is what happens.
Yeah.
What a
That has
Uh,
nothing to do with the game. That's someone
So speaking
literally
of
robbing you.
robbing people, pirates.
Yarr!
Um,
Sorry, Eugene's not here. Someone has to do it.
Last week, we entered a temple, and then we had some fighting, and then we had some parlaying, and some amount of each of that occurred at various stages and more than once. Last week, James was not here, so his character didn't participate, and in particular, the reason was that he leapt into a chasm.
Which has a
We'll
H
begin-
in it, but it's still pronounced chasm. So, yay English.
I mean, anyway, so James leapt into a chasm.
Thank you for pronouncing it correctly.
The Stone.
Mhm.
We'll catch up with you at the start of this episode for the obvious reason.
Okay.
So at the mere moments ago, you were walking through a stone pass. You came upon a mist-shrouded cliff. And when the mist cleared, you saw a great temple in the distance and a bridge. And a chasm that was seemingly bottomless because it was still filled with mist. Fuck off. Now I'm not going to answer your question in Zoom because you did that. There we go. So the chasm was still filled with mist. You couldn't see the bottom. And as you gazed upon this canyon, this great open wound in the earth, you felt this great tension in your heart and in your chest, and your vision started to go red. And then you blacked out. And you came back into consciousness in a dark, poorly lit space. The conversation from last week occurred where you call up to your friends saying, oh, I went through an awning. I'm in a cave. It's dark. That sort of stuff. And then while in said cave, a light was lit in the distance, very purposefully, and it drew your attention. And since you were sort of where you were, the cave, the other edge was just, again, more mist, more chasm. You decided you told your friends that you were going to follow after that light and see what was going on, try and find a torch and, get your way out of this cave. So we come up with you in some sort of dark, black space.
So I'm like a moth.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you're lost in a cave and the only other direction is a seemingly bottomless chasm, I think heading to a light source is not particularly far-fetched. Of course, we toss the reins to you now. So if you want to just turn around and jump back into that chasm, that's totally within your power.
The light. I'll see where this light goes.
Don't follow the lights.
Is it moving or is it just getting close? I mean, obviously it's moving closer to me because I'm moving.
Right. Is it moving? Yeah. No.
Okay, I'll head towards it then.
As you head towards it, various features of the cave make themselves more noticeable to you. There are a couple of stalactites and stalagmites, and a few stalactites and stalagmites that are still merged in the middle.
Damn,
or half merged in the middle,
and up and around the back.
Like a
rock,
like a column almost.
I'm confused.
Why is that so funny, Dave?
Because it's fucking funny. Like a column. Oh my god. Wreckage. Whew. That killed me, man.
Stalactite and mites forming together make what?
A column.
It is what they make.
So you move your way through the cave, and you have to start. These features become apparent to you as you get closer to them. You start dodging them, and the light passes back and forth on the other side. You get closer, and you realize that at some point the natural appearance of the cave turns into carved stonework, and it's here that you find the light. It is in a great stone lion's head, and it is essentially a torch, and it lit itself. There is no clear sign of a person here, nor any particular reason why someone would light this torch and leave it. It is in a door frame, and beyond the door frame, the cave becomes 100% stonework and crafted and made by the hands of man, presumably. And you can see by the light of the torch into this space.
Is the torch or is it on something that I can take out and walk with it?
Yeah, you could, especially with your great strength. It looks like it's set into it intentionally, but it is still a torch at the end of a stick, and you can break it off at the at the stonework and take it with you.
At the sconce.
A sconce is the whole thing.
Is there anything else lying around? Like, I don't want to damage a temple because it might be disrespectful.
There's nothing else immediately here at this exact spot, but you are more than welcome to proceed into the temple without the torch and see how you fare.
No, I don't like the dark. No.
I love the idea that James is that Stone is like, I won't disrespect this temple, but he'll punch a man's head clean off his shoulders.
That's what I was thinking. That was very respectful of the temple for Stone.
Yes, but people's bodies aren't temples to Stone. So your body isn't a temple. Hashtag Stone.
Believe it.
Right, so you're going to take this torch.
Fuck it. I'll break it.
This is a sort of antechamber. Its exact function is definitely lost to Stone, who probably knows very little about archaeology and certainly probably nothing about this temple or the people who built it. It's a room. There's another room, and that room is much larger. When you pass into this room, there is no ceiling. And way, way up in the distance, well beyond even Stone's impressive ability to bellow, the sound of distant cannon fire and pistol fire whizzes over a great chasm. Even.
Thank you. Hashtag not triggered.
There is some sort of battle, from the perspective of Stone, I guess, it's many crow's nests up. More than 3.
That's good.
Yeah.
No, that's not good. No. Is there... Can I climb up it?
Could you climb up many more than 3 crow's nests?
Probably. I'm quite good at climbing.
Do you have the skill climbing, Stone?
There's a roll for that.
Yes, I do.
It would be quite difficult. This isn't like roping, and it's not the type of climbing that you might have experience with, because you would be essentially trying to find purchase and handholds in stonework.
Can I make those?
You don't have like a pickaxe, which maybe if you had that sort of thing. Oh yeah, just right into.
It's like the Hulk digging into the side of a wall.
I'll have a look around in these 2 rooms, the larger one and the smaller one. I'll have a look in here.
So the big one, the small one has really no features of note except for that it opens into that cave. There's some destroyed pottery in it, long past useful. The large room, besides going all the way up to the top where the battle from the previous episode occurred, the floor is very intricately carved. It seems to be specifically carved to channel liquids. And considering the misty, humid nature of the location and it's in the great size of this chamber, a great amount of moisture is culminating in this room, and small streams of water pour along these channels, along the great length of this room and into other rooms. It seems that while this chamber goes all the way to the top, there are many other chambers that exist at this level, and that open in to the channels, and great stone columns carved rather than formed out of stalactites and stalagmites hold up the rest of the temple.
Okay. So in stone terms, so in my term, for the character terms, there's a room with no ceiling.
Yep.
And it's got a wet floor.
Yeah. There's a room with no ceiling with a wet floor, and there are other rooms all over the place. If Stone wants to try and head up without necessarily climbing a sheer stone wall face, then in general you could try and explore rooms for paths upwards.
Is there any vines that sort of like or roots that are like work their way down?
There aren't. Things are mossy, but there aren't like great root systems or complicated vines. If you hang out in the room with no ceiling and a wet floor for long enough, flaming ropes will start to fall from the sky. So
he's down the bottom of that. All right, I get you.
Yeah, yeah.
So we're going to end up with okay. All right. Well, I'll go into how many rooms are off this main room with the floor?
So you came in. It's a room that's longer than it is wide. You came in on the longer face. Yeah. But it has no ceiling, and it's not quite a hallway, so maybe not a corridor. It's a room with no ceiling. You came in on a long side. To your left is the furthest part down. It's also where all the water heads towards, and that's a room. There is 2 rooms across from your room on the other long face, and to your right is another room, and that one's much closer than the other side.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll go to the closer room first then.
On the right?
I'll progress. I'll try and make my way down. I'll see what's in there.
Immediately to your right, you find a large room. This one has a ceiling.
It's actually a room. Yeah,
it's a room with a ceiling. There are many stone tables, or beds, maybe. They are spaced out away from the wall, and there are like 12 of them in 2 rows of 6. And the tops of these tables are piled with dirt and broken pottery and like old decayed fabric.
So these beds don't look like they've been slept in recently.
Certainly not. This whole bottom level just gives the appearance of being utterly abandoned and very dank and moist. Moss grows all over the place. If there aren't spider webs or ancient cobwebs somewhere, then there is a great deal of moss and that sort of thing.
All right. Anything shiny?
Yes. Let's see if you can notice it with a notice check.
Oh yeah, brilliant! Best skill check ever.
I've
got 3 on both.
Well, that's not a pass, but you do have plenty of bennies. Do you want to spend one for this one?
No, it's not that important. Oh, is it?
All right. I mean, it could be very important, or it could be not important at all, because you haven't noticed it yet.
Well,
it's role-playing games. I made a little thing on the paper.
Oh, okay. Okay, all right, sure. I'm going to use 1 Benny then, and I'll attempt to re-roll, but I don't expect much because I've only got a D4 in the skill.
Well, I mean, you have a D6 in the wild, right? So.
Yes, but I'm not expecting great. I'm not expecting to knock someone's head off.
with notice. No, you're right. I wouldn't expect that either.
I've got a
He
5.
says as he crits it.
So there is something remarkably shiny in one of these piles of dirt. On closer inspection, if stone is drawn to it and so chooses to uncover it from the pile of dirt,
Yes, he is drawn to shiny objects.
it appears
Fucking magpie.
it appears to be some kind of bladed weapon. Any sort of wooden handle has long since decayed away, and it appears to be made out of a brilliant green, almost more like an obsidian, a stone, rather than like a metal. It just happens.
Shiny.
Yeah, and it's
Okay.
it's
A green
green rather than like the dark black of an obsidian.
Okay, so it's a green shiny object.
Yeah, sort of rock sword. Yeah.
I'll put that on my belt. For later.
It won't quite fit on your belt, given that it has no accoutrement, but you can certainly take it with you. You won't have to think too hard about it.
I'll rip up some of the cloth then.
Yeah, give it a sort of handle, something to grasp.
Well, not necessarily that, but more like just like put in a sling or something so that I can then wear it over the back or something. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it wouldn't be too hard for your character to do something like that. So now you have something that is at least a weapon.
I've got knuckle dusters. I don't need weapons.
Well,
I've got my fists.
Sure. You're welcome to not use the ancient weapon thing. That's fine.
That is the boss's only weakness.
That's right. I won't mention it. I'll just go.
I'm not a big fan of that particular trope, so I can pretty much promise that won't be what happens. Yeah, all right. So that was what was in that room. What else?
Well, I guess I'll head for this water. Must run somewhere.
Sure. So you want to go the long way to where the water goes, or do you want to go across to those other two rooms?
I'm going to test something.
Sure.
So I'm going to take the weapon out of its sling.
Sure.
I'm going to see how well it compares to the cement or the mortar that's sort of in between the.
It's definitely. It's. So are you striking it or just trying to push it in?
Just trying to see if I can use it as some sort of like pick type.
No, it's definitely sort of it's more of a slicing and cleaving weapon. It's definitely meant to be hit on the long side. It doesn't have much of a pierce at the tip.
Okay.
So it's not particularly good for that type of thought.
Okay. Oh, then I won't use it then. Okay. Well, I'll follow the water then because it must go somewhere.
As you follow the water and pass out of the room with no ceiling, this particular space has very low ceilings.
How low?
You're fine, but you have to duck a little bit. It's just low in comparison. Hold on a second.
And all of a sudden, there's a ringing in the distance. It's that dinosaur that ate that phone.
Oh yeah,
Come
that
get ya.
dinosaur that ate that phone. Yeah, makes sense to me.
Oh, I'm at home. Eat shit.
Mom, I'm playing a role-playing game.
Hi, sorry.
Hi.
Hi,
Um,
sorry.
So the ceilings are low-ish. It's just low enough that Stone has to duck a little bit. Here there are openings all along the low ceiling that pour out a very small amount of water each into semicircular bowls in the floor that then connect again to the various channels along the floor, and so sort of like almost looking like a computer chip or something, like where there's all these points that then follow lines and then reconnect and go along,
Like circuitry.
Stone's starting to think that the tiny guy. This is how they make canals for tiny people.
right. The tiny people who make canals.
No, tiny people gonna drink too, right? Sizes.
It's a village of really small people. It's that guy that stabbed the person on the boat.
Exactly.
Duh.
Exactly. It's a callback.
Oh, God.
For them, this is a great hall with the highest of ceilings.
Does it go anywhere? Can I feel air except through?
Yeah, no, this is all going along. You follow it along, and it lasts for quite a while. Like this whole setup, like this bottom level being a low ceiling with a bunch of openings that pour water into this lasts for some time, and eventually you come to a great circular hole in the floor that goes down, 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 and it's filled with water. The water that's being fed constantly by all these channels, so it's like a great well. And when you get to this, you see also that beyond it is even more of this same level, but from other directions, like way off into the cliff face. There are more places where water is coming down and streaming along these channels into this great well.
Stone doesn't understand any of this.
Nope,
at all.
it's just a room with a hole and water.
It's like a sink.
It is. It's a great bath. It's a really big bath for a guy who's really, 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 really big, but also really, really, really short.
Doesn't make any sense. I need to find some idea of what this all means. I want to find a way out. There must be a way out. They wouldn't build this so that no one can get down to it.
Yeah, no. There are other places that you could check. You could head back to the room with no ceiling, which had some other rooms.
Sure, we'll head back there.
All right. There's some
Is
burnt
there
rope.
rope?
Yeah, it's like past burnt. It's already fallen and burnt, and then now it's all wet.
Yeah.
There's also a guy.
A guy?
Oh, he's super dead though.
Oh, okay. What's he got on him?
He fell that whole way. He doesn't have particularly well equipped pirate gear, but he does look like he looks like a sailor. He looks like like somebody that you would have seen on a boat, except for that he's all like jellified and splattered on this floor, and he's dressed in rags and doesn't even have like a cutlass or anything.
No. Has he got any shiny objects on him?
No, not immediately.
His belt.
Sure.
That's shiny.
Well, it doesn't even have a belt buckle. It's just
I don't want that then.
it's just a strip of leather. It's just a strip of leather that he's tied around his waist. It also, you'd have to root through his meat jelly to get it.
I don't like blood. No, I'm all right. I'll leave it.
Oh yeah, his meat jelly is getting all up in the channel too, and it's
Oh, God.
yeah, it's just being sort of like poured along. So there's two other rooms to check. You check one at random since neither of them have shiny things in them. And it has a staircase.
Ah.
And it goes up.
Excellent. I'm going to go up the staircase.
All right, you go up the staircase. The staircase goes up a little bit more than most staircases that you've probably encountered, especially in prior.
About three birds' nests.
No, not quite that high. It just goes up
okay.
to another level, but it's the next level is a little ways away. Is all that I'm saying.
Okay.
And you find yourself in some hallways. This hallway is mostly blocked by rubble, but there's a big old gap, and through it, you can hear people moving, piratey people with piratey accents, and the flicker of torchlight. And they're moving along the hallways. And you could peek through this hole. You could maybe even get through this blockage if you really, really tried. But it's not immediately clear who these people might be.
Oh, well, I'll let them pass, unless I recognise any of the voices.
You do recognize one of the voices just at the tail end as they're starting to move away down a distant hallway. You realize that one of the voices is your watch captain.
Oh. How big are these rocks?
They're pretty big.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll let them go pass, and then I'll climb through and go the opposite direction that they were.
So this is going to have to be a strength, or something like that. Digging skill check. Do you have digging?
I don't think digging's a skill.
What? How can any self-respecting game not have the universally important digging skill? Yeah, no, this is definitely just a strength.
Who's messing around with my cat sheet? All right, a strength test, yeah?
Yep.
Okay. I've got a 7.
That'll be sufficient. The voices will have passed out of earshot by the time that you figure it out. But basically, you put a great deal of your impressive strength on a particular part of the rubble that resembles a column, and it fulcrums up a big part of the rubble, and you get a space that even someone as big as you can move through. And you find yourself in a series of hallways. You're in a bit of a corner here, where one hallway turns to another, and there are branching hallways around. Other than the light of your torch, it's dark, but it's not as damp as the lowest level. It's much more dusty here.
All right. Well, like I said, I'm going to go the opposite direction that I saw them walk by. So
you want to head for where they came from as opposed to where they're going?
Yeah.
All right, you can do that. You'll head forwards in that case. And you will follow this hallway for some amount of time, where you will come to another great large circular room. It has stairs along the outside spiraling upwards. And in the bottom here, there has been some kind of fight, some kind of slaughter. There are a bunch of dead men who have been shot, run through, stabbed, burned, grappled, and then their bodies have been ransacked of any possible weaponry or loot. You can tell like a lot of people aren't lying where they died. Some of them have been hucked into a bit of a pile. And it's just gruesome.
Oh, okay. And there's no one here.
Not living.
I'll go up the stairs then.
All right, you head up the stairs. We're going to quickly sideswipe back over to Dave as Ricardo.
Hello.
Hi. Last week, you made a deal with some disheveled, sort of castaway-looking pirates who apparently know something about this place, to follow them deeper into the temple while leaving your friends behind on the other side of the interior chasm, the big room with no ceiling.
Yeah, they had some pretty interesting aspirations. So
Yeah. So you're currently following them deeper into this temple, and not unlike Stone. You pass many rooms whose exact purpose you cannot ascertain. But
I'm far more interested in their explanation as to what their goal is here.
Well, they haven't said anything yet.
I know, maybe I'll persuade them to do it, like so.
Well, they're just leading you along. As stated, they're sort of just leading you. They're withdrawing to some other group of people, a rendezvous or something like that, and you're allowed to tag along. And if your friends catch up, then they catch up. Great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep.
You make a couple of turns, left, right, etc.
Mm-hmm.
As stated last time, you can make some minor markings for Bjorn and Eric to catch up with.
Mm-hmm.
You do so.
I know he doesn't, but I imagine him like taking out his sword like Zoro does and making R's everywhere. In the
No,
moss.
he was originally going to be using his sword, but the people who were leading him along told him to
too
cut it out.
Nice.
So eventually, you come to a room that has an open skylight that a great amount of foliage has poured into and grown over into, and in fact, there are ropes hanging down from palm trees and overhanging branches that grow over this hole. And it's a vast room with many sort of stone alcoves in the walls. And here there are a teeming mass of pirates and sailors and etc. that look very similar to the group that you followed here, all castawayed and disheveled, thin and lanky and skin tanned by the sun, wrinkled and thin and starved. And there's obviously places where they're sleeping and eating and making food. But also there's a large number that are being sort of in the center. Their wounds are being treated, bandaged, limbs are being hacked off or soldered closed, as wounded are being carted into this room from various other points in the temple.
It would appear that you have a lot of friends already.
Aye, more than enough mouths to feed.
How long have you been here?
Me personally, or everybody together?
I guess as a group.
Well, as far as I know, person who's been here the longest been here 10 years.
You must have a reason for staying. Surely ships have come and gone in that time.
No, they haven't.
There is a ship on the beach now. Is that not a priority?
Well, we only just learned of that thanks to you, and I'll let everyone know about it. And certainly a great many of us are going to head over to that now and see what we can do with the thing. The last time there was a ship on the beach, which wasn't too long ago, it wasn't salvageable. So no one's getting their hopes up just yet.
Okay. Well, would you mind filling me in on what exactly it is that you're looking for down here?
Looking for down here? Well, your captain, apparently, to kill him and get him gone.
I'm okay with that. But you mentioned something else about you would fill me in on why you're here.
Well, we're here because we've been stranded here, and this is a roof over our heads and a building to live in.
Wreckage, I remember distinctly last time that they said something of the curious nature as to, why they're here. It's the reason why I followed them.
Mm-hmm. It wasn't, the phrase wasn't why they're here. What exactly did he promise you again? I remember,
something,
trying to remember the exact words.
I don't remember the exact words. He said he'd tell me. James, you watched it recently. What did he say?
Oh, I can't remember what he said. Sorry.
Well, I remember it was, the captain's here for a reason, right? And then he said, I'll tell you more about it or something along those lines, which is the reason why I came with them in the first place. Because it was enough to sate my curiosity, right? So...
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's right. Because you weren't gonna go with them until they posed something that made you curious.
Yeah,
was the
right.
reason why you should. Yeah, that's right. And I can't remember what it was, but yes, I do remember that.
And I remember the throwaway line was, "We'll tell you on the way." I'm like, okay.
He lied to you.
Hold on a second. I found the exact spot from the playthrough last week. Give me
So I
one
watched
second.
it on Thursday, so it was like the day later.
Come on, James. Come on.
Come on.
And I had it in the background.
I'm kidding.
While I was doing
I'm kidding. This is the reason why I brought up Magic the Gathering. I have a deck of cards, apparently.
Like
I
playing
got them
cards?
from probably, it's from some packs, I think. A couple years.
Mom, I would love if you got me some Magic the Gathering cards for Christmas. You get you a fucking 52 card deck of playing Magic cards. Yeah.
Is that bad? There are ready to play 30
That's my Magic
30
cards.
card deck quick start guide.
Oh, it's an actual deck. I thought it was like playing cards, like King, Jack, Queen.
Oh,
10.
no. It's
That's a weird way
no,
to
they're not
package
playing
it.
cards.
Yeah. That's like that lady on it's like, oh yeah, honey, I'd love to get a SNES Mini for Christmas, and she gets him like a fucking like tiny
Yeah.
SNES. That's what you wanted. It's like a
My hair is being unruly today. It's terrible.
yeah, I feel that, man. My hair's curly, so like that's why I'm wearing a beanie most of the time because
Yeah?
it's at the length where it's like, awful.
You got
What's
curly hair?
What's hair? Well, you see, when a man loves a woman, James, and they make a baby, sometimes it's born with hair.
Wow. So I'm trash and
Hairless trash?
hairless trash.
Hairless panda trash.
Panda.
Hi.
Hi.
All right.
Welcome back.
Yeah, welcome back, Wreckage.
All right, I got his exact promise.
Oh, yeah, what was it?
I'll tell you more about what we know. That was it. So back to the conversation at hand. Why don't you ask some more pressing questions? See what he says.
So the exact phrase he left me on is, tell me what you... Okay, it's like...
Tell you more about what we know.
Well, while we are here, we seem to have time, so why don't you fill me in on what you know?
Oh, I know a great many things, lad. You'll have to be a bit more specific.
Okay, how did you come to this isle?
Me, personally, shipwreck.
And I assume it's the same for most of these folk?
A large number of them have been shipwrecked, but more often than shipwreck. More than once now. Crews have been abandoned here by their captains. We're not exactly sure why. It's never been clear. We make landfall for supplies or exploration, and then the captain turns and sets sail before his men have returned to the boats. That more than half of us have been left here that way. Though me in particular, it was a shipwreck.
Do you have any idea what, I guess, the man that I used to call captain would find in a place like this? Or what he would be looking for?
There are tales of treasures here. Many tales, many rumors. Things like impossible gold and uncountable jewels and so forth, and also pagan magics and blood gods and all sorts of the men here. There's not much by way of entertainment. We have but 3 accordions between the all of us, and very few who can sing and play, and many stories are told to pass the time about what's really going on.
But you've had nigh a century. Have you not found anything of the sort?
A century is 100 years. I've been here 10.
Decade, then. Sorry.
Have we found anything of the sort? No. We looked. We know this temple from stem to stern, from mast to keel, and we haven't actually found any gold. There seems to be a great. Many parts of this temple seem to have some sort of religious significance to whoever called this place home. Not that we understand, but well, at least one crew came here before with the express purpose of finding this place and rooting out its secrets, and them and their lot have they're more or less in command now, and it seems to be very important to them that we keep trespassers out.
Could I perchance talk to these people, or the leader, or this captain of yours?
Not quite a captain, I would say, but I'd be happy to introduce you, except I'm taking a cursory glance and I see he's not here. In fact, none of them are here. I'd wager they went after your captain.
Is there a chance that we can follow them? Because I believe that my former captain has a lot more information about this place than he lets on about.
Well, everyone who comes here certainly thinks they do. Here, we'll... Hamill! He shouts, and a man
Luke
looks up.
Skywalker comes over.
Hamel, not Hamill. But anyway, a man who is sort of elbows deep in some viscera of some poor bloke who's almost certainly not going to make it. Sort of looks up, and he says, "Aye," says, "we have any wounded from the group that went after the interlopers in the lower depths? Is there any word?" He says, "Aye, here, these are the survivors." And he sort of just like does an arm motion to all these people who are super dead. Definitely whoever's down there. Well, they kicked the shit out of us. Do we know exactly where they're headed? No, they seem to be after something on the second to last floor. Certainly nobody's chomping at the bit to go after them. And the guy who's sort of led you back here turns to you and says, "Well, I mean, I know where they are, but it seems like they killed a bunch of our men. It would seem foolhardy to go after them in our current state. We'd have to get some folks together and feel good about it, you know. Regroup, see who's in fighting shape and worth it.
If I was
worth
to
doing.
get together a group of people who would be willing to go down, would you perchance be able to have a guide come with us?
Well, pretty much anybody here knows the place enough to guide you down there. And I don't expect that you're going to pull a whole war party out of your arse. So should you
It's
get
less about war party and more about quiet individuals.
You have quiet individuals in your arse.
What is it with you and putting things up my rear end?
Because unless you have a bunch of quiet boys up your arse, then you're not going to be able to magically mysticize up a bunch of people to go after your captain.
Yes, but why the arse? You're going to have to explain that one to me. Is that not where you excrete from?
It's also a big empty cavity inside a human body where you can hide things. So it's a turn of phrase, for God's sake.
Who would ever hide anything up their own rear end?
Thieves and smugglers.
I know plenty of thieves and smugglers. Not one has ever put something up his bottom.
Well, then he's a shit smuggler.
Well, no, that's where the shit is, yes. I mean, everyone, I guess, is a smuggler of shit, if that's the case.
You're a strange man, and I think you might be suffering from the heat. I suggest you take a drink of water.
Oh, there's water here? Yeah, I would love to partake in some, actually.
Yeah, they've got...
Shit smuggler.
One of these mini channels that I've described before flows right through this room, and so it's a constant source of fresh water that passes through. Probably one of the reasons why they set up in here. And some people are, using the fresh water to wet bandages and bring them over to the wounded. But there's plenty to drink.
I'll give them all right. I thought that they'd be a little more willing to like protect their lands from people here. So
as this sort of progresses, there's a lot more hype now about the fact that there's a boat on the shore. And they're like, he sort of is talking about how we know where there's a boat and it's on the shore, and they're saying that it can be fixed and sailed out of here. Like there's a lot of excitement for that.
Okay.
But somebody does say, in the sort of, as the excitement builds, one group of people it starts to sort of to kick up to say, well, you know, more than 20 of our boys went after those interlopers down in the lower levels. We can't just leave them behind. He said, well, look, someone else is like, well, look what happened to these lot. They're probably already dead. And so now you're getting into that sort of the classic pirate argument. Like, leave them for dead, or no, we got to be loyal to them. We got to go find them. We got to go bring them back. And so that whole argument is kicking up.
Right. Okay. Well, I will go to the group who has the most interest in going down and attempt to convince them to, follow up with their friends.
There doesn't seem to be a specific group of people that are like that. The argument is sort of happening everywhere at once. You could maybe speak publicly to everyone to try and sway some minds.
Okay. I honestly think that we should bring as many people to the forefront as we can, because
Who the hell are you?
it does not matter. I know where the ship is and I came aboard it.
Okay.
So honestly speaking, I think it would be best if you rescue your friends.
No, fuck that. We'll go get the ship. It'll be fine. And then someone else is like, no, they've been good to us. They've been a good leader. You can't just leave them go like that. That's just fucking, and there's just more fighting.
It's also worth pointing out that the captain, while he did beat his ship fairly hard, would assume to have a reason to do so. In my opinion, it would be because he's expecting additional company to show up at some point.
What? What are you getting on about?
Well, the man that is accosting your friends.
What about him?
The reason why the ship is here.
I
just sort of look at him like, yeah, that's the whole thing.
No, I seriously don't know what point you're trying to make. You didn't... Like, out of character, I have no idea what you just tried to say.
So the captain beached his ship on purpose and then came to this island. He obviously has a way off of it.
All right.
And it's probably not that ship.
I think that's a bit of a stretch.
Well,
you have to convince them of that.
You said yourself he ruined his fucking own ship. It's going to take repairs.
Right.
Why would he do that?
Why would he do that? You don't know.
Okay.
So, if you have a point that you're trying to make to these people, you have to make that point.
I don't have a point, Wreckage. Especially if you don't believe it, so...
Well, it's not about what I believe. I'm just trying to see what you're trying to tell these people. I literally don't know what you're trying to tell these people.
I believe that there is another ship coming.
You know there's another ship coming?
No, but I believe there to be.
What, to rescue them what are here? Like a rescue ship?
Yes.
Well, why do you say that? Ain't no one's ever rescued any of us before. Why would they know to rescue us?
Well, you don't work with a man who has worked with a government before.
I mean, I worked with the government.
Yes, but you did not get paid by the government to come to this specific isle, now did you?
Well, no.
Hence my point.
You think he got paid to come to this specific isle and beach his ship?
I know he has been paid to come to this isle.
By our government? Well, Why are they sending a rescue ship? Why didn't he just not beach his ship in the first place?
Because what they believe to be here must be worth bringing a whole nother ship to acquire. He is willing to hire on crew and then abandon them at the first notice.
Well, we certainly heard that story before, but they don't usually come with a rescue ship afterwards. And they've never beached a ship intentionally before either. And then lots of people are like, I.
Well, whatever they wish to recover from this place must be worth quite a sum.
I just don't understand why they'd beach the ship intentionally. They could just sail it away.
That is exactly my point.
They just used, like, longboats and what forth?
Exactly my point. Why do something like that unless you have another means of getting out of here? All you need to know is that their crew, my former crew, to them is worth nothing. There is a handful of people within them that have any stakes at all within their endeavor.
Well, and I imagine those are the only people that'd be allowed on the rescue ship also.
That is my point. So what I am trying to say is that you're going to need as many arms as you can get your hands on.
Nope, I disagree. I think it's much more reasonable and much safer to just go repair this other ship that they beached like a bunch of idiots. And if they come around with a repair boat or a rescue boat or whatever, then they can get on that and we can take their old ship and leave. And we won't have to fight nobody. And there's a couple of eyes like, oh yeah. And there's other people who are like, well, we can't just fucking leave them for dead. We can take these blokes. They don't know anything about the interior of the temple like us. We got the element of surprise.
That is what I'm hoping for, at least.
And so that argument will continue and media res while we take a quick break. And we'll come back to hear more about Bjorn.
All right, if you enjoy pirates and seeing pirate booty, then I've got a surprise for you because we're going to break. Many thanks to our Patreon supporters for this week's episode. Head on over to patreon.com/handling to support the growth of Die Party.
Bjorn.
Yo.
Eugene keeps his promise to treat the wounded of your crew from the fight from before. Meanwhile, you are left with the puzzle of how to bridge the gap to catch up with your friend Ricardo. Any thoughts?
Are there any, let's say, I don't know, anything to build a bridge out of, like wood, planks, or anything?
You have so outside there is like the remnants of all those camps and etc. That wood is pretty crappy, and no single piece of it is long enough to bridge the gap by itself. But you could certainly make an attempt with that.
I guess I'd go to some of the men, or some. Who's the main guy again? He had the fancy hat. I forget his name.
It started with a J, right?
Jeremy, right? Jeremiah.
Jeremiah. That's what Eric
Right.
named him.
Yeah. I guess I would go to Jeremiah and be like, Jeremiah, is it okay if I take a couple of your men and go out to the front of the temple and grab some wood, because we're gonna need to bridge this gap for.
You need to bridge the gap for your means. My men don't give a shit. So no, you can't borrow any of my men. Go haul the wood yourself.
I mean, to be fair, we're helping you. We're treating your wounded. Could you not just spare a few?
The deal for treating the wounded was me letting you go deeper into the temple. And we're not going to get back into that argument that took 6 hours last week. So you can go haul wood yourself, and you can bridge the gap yourself. And if you can't, tough titties.
Did they even use titties as a word back then?
Yes.
Oh, Jeremy.
I'm sure that tough titties probably wasn't a phrase, but the word
Hello,
titties.
I'm Jeremy. I'm a pirate of the ocean and a lover of titties. Like,
You're an asshole. You know that, Jeremy.
Who isn't?
It's Jeremiah.
It's true.
And
Jeremiah,
and
yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I guess. Well, is there any other? There's no ropes or anything. All the ropes were used in the.
right, they were
in
all
that one
destroyed
battle and
intentionally.
burned.
Right. Yep.
Is there any massive column that I could knock over, bridging the gap?
There is some stone work that could maybe do that. The trouble would come in with exactly how you intend to knock it over. You do not have a great reserve of gunpowder at your disposal, for example.
And apparently, no men. He's not going to spare any men to help me.
Even if he did spare men, I'm not sure a bunch of men could just push a stone column over.
Yeah, I was thinking ropes, but then I'm like, if we had ropes, we could cross with the rope.
Yeah, we'll take a bunch of so we'll take this bridge and we'll hit the column with the bridge over and over again until the column falls over, forming some kind of bridge.
So, okay, so we got this chasm or chasm. On the sides, like what is it? What are we looking on the sides? Like the chasm, does it end anywhere? Like where I can climb on the walls at all, or anything like that?
So, you are on the left side, based on the entrance that you came into this whole space, and that's a raised platform that has stairs towards the entrance. If you face across the chasm so that the entrance is on your right, then on your left, after a certain amount, the platform drops off and it's just the chasm. In your front, it's the chasm and then the platform that's on the other side. And there is a wall that goes around the whole way. Well, because, it's a space, it's a defined space. It's quite long if you were to somehow stay climbed on the walls and go all the way around. That would be quite difficult.
Would you allow that he could say make like a half bridge almost, or like just extend his reach and then do a run and jump, and that would assist in his jump in any way?
Like a little ramp.
Yeah, or something like extend it out further so that the jump isn't as perilous,
That would certainly be easier to accomplish than a whole bridge. But I still would need some sort of... You still have to attempt in some way. You still have to try something.
And this is one of those games where you can't make the roll unless you have the skill, right?
I mean, he has the necessary skills to build. That's why he was tasked with building a bridge.
I meant for jumping.
But do I actually have skills for building?
Didn't you?
I know I used to.
Did you take crafting?
Was there crafting in Savage Worlds?
It should have been. I remember this conversation when we did character creation. What skills do you have?
I have throwing, swimming, survival, riding, repair. Oh, maybe it's repair? No. Notice, lockpicking, climbing, boating, and fighting. I don't know if there is a crafting.
To my knowledge, repair is the relevant skill.
What were you saying, James?
You're muted.
I know. I didn't want to interrupt people. You can make unskilled checks. There is mechanics. You roll a d4 and a d6, and it's at -2. Some skills you can't obviously attempt.
Oh, it's at a -2? Jesus fucking
Yeah,
crap.
so you have to...
You'd need to roll
crit,
a
right?
6.
You'd have to explode or something?
Yeah, holy crap.
It could be a knowledge skill, not sure. Because there's knowledge skills that fall under that deal with everything else.
I'm looking at the skill list right now.
It's just having no rope really sucks, because I would tie myself off and make the jump and then fasten a rope from what I used.
So there is the only thing that's in here is repair. Repair's ability to fix gadget, vehicles, weapons, and other machines. Character suffers a negative penalty to the roll if they don't have the access to basic tools. A raise and repair rolls half the time required by the specific task. So I don't. The repair's the only real like crafting one in here. I mean, you could make a smarts check. I guess.
No, it's gonna be repair.
All right, I have a question.
Sure.
There were vines outside. How thick were these vines? Were these like big enough to use as ropes?
You just did this.
Yes, that's how thick
That
needs to be.
Vine, I just want to.
Yes,
just want a big.
I didn't do this.
Thick vine.
You're welcome. Now that's going to be a GIF.
Yeah, let's keep making the motion over and over again.
What, this motion?
Yeah.
This one right here?
Oh my god.
Oh, I remember when you made that quote.
The main dick quote? Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that one. That was a good one.
Fucking, I want to get that on a shirt, man.
So are there any thick vines outside that he could use?
Thick. No. Well, so the vines are in the jungle, which is all the way over the bridge and through the chasm.
Oh, I thought there were vines on the actual tomb.
Basically, there's only remnants of camps on the steps of the temple, which is it's more than enough to work with if you want to make the attempt. You just have to tell me, wreckage. I grab this things from outside and I make the attempt.
I grab the
Okay, I take the shitty wood.
Now, are you trying to make a full bridge or the ramp that Dave suggested?
Like the half bridge for assisting you jump.
Basically, if you make
let's make half a bridge now and see how well it does.
So start with
I'll gladly
half a bridge.
pay you for half a bridge now.
Yeah.
All right. Why don't you make that repair roll then?
So, do you have the tools for this?
Of course. It was
I-
in the camp that was outside.
No. So, well, the idea, he's not trying to make a real bridge that will hold up under the weight. He's just trying to bridge a gap, which means that the tools that he requires are his own two hands.
There you go.
And like putting a board out and then putting a counterweight, like a huge rock, to make it so it doesn't fall instead of like nailing it, because I don't have any tools.
Yeah, you don't have and in order to affix it to something anyway, you would need like stone cutter's equipment because you'd have to affix it.
Or like
to
I
the
could tie it
stone.
with vines. Oh shit! Wait, I can't do
Right.
that.
Well, I mean, you could spend a lot of time to go get vines, and then you would make a really great bridge, and you'd be ready to cross the gap about when Yujun gets back, which is next week.
Yeah, no, let's do that. Let's do that half bridge.
I got you.
So you said repair roll?
Yeah, which is a smarts check if you don't have it.
Yeah, I have repair. So
Where's the page on unskilled checks? I'd love to see that. Hey, there you go.
so that's my roll.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So since you're just trying to make half a bridge, that'll succeed. You make a half ramp bridge thing. It goes out over the gap a little bit. It would let you have more of a running start for a jump, which would still mean making in this case an agility roll. So if you want to not have to make the agility roll, you'd have to bridge the rest of the gap, which would be another repair roll, but it would be at -2 to finish the whole thing.
This is gonna suck if I die. Can I yell down there? Because I know Stone's down there.
You
And be
don't
like,
know
"Yo,
Stone's
catch
down
me."
there.
I know. I'm kidding. God damn it.
He's not down
Page
there
60.
though.
So the PDF, okay, page 63. Right at the
63.
top.
Thank you.
My problem is I can make this jump and get over, but then Eugene's still over repairing people, and he's gonna have to make the jump, and
Like,
both of
well,
us have to make it,
I mean,
unless there's rope on the other side.
this is me playing Eric, son of Eric. Bjorn, it's more important that you go play the session in the game right in this moment. I'll make the jump later. Don't worry. We have the same agility score. So if you can make it, I can make it.
And if you can't make it, then
Yeah,
I
I'm
won't
sure.
try it.
If you can't make it, I won't try it.
All right. So what is that? What'd you say the half bridge gets me? Does it give me any
doesn't
kind of
give you-
advantage? Makes it a
It makes
harder
it a
check, or
normal
easier
agility
check?
roll. It makes it a normal agility roll.
So just
Roll the agility score, and
okay.
Yeah.
I get down into a running position,
Sure. Yep.
and then I kind of psych myself up. I'm exactly, and then I just bolt, and then
Usain Bolt.
oh god,
Wow, dude.
I suggest
Fucking
you
wow. Benny.
Spend a penny. Yeah.
I spend a penny.
Okay.
And that rerolls, right? That's what that does, right?
Yeah. You reroll.
Why is there a line?
And
There you go. You did it.
that Benny comes from psyching myself out, before.
All right. So you land on the other side.
Gracefully.
Congratulations.
While dabbing.
I don't have to make a climbing check.
No.
No,
You
I
have half a bridge.
So
Like,
I did that
alright.
because I wanted to be stealthy, right? So remember
Alright.
last time I had the rope as well. So I roped underneath the thing.
Yeah, you're both doing
Yeah.
two different things. You're just
Gotcha.
trying. You had half a bridge. He didn't have half a bridge. So
Alright.
if you didn't have half a bridge, you would have
I'm
had to make
totally
an
fine with
agility
that. I
roll.
was just
Right.
expecting it, so I'm happy with that.
All right. Anyway, you're now on the other side. I assume that you chase after Ricardo.
No, of course. I don't even look behind me.
Eric will
Actually, hold
remember
on.
this.
Hold on.
What?
Hold on.
What?
Is there rope anywhere? I do a little quick search to see if there's anything I can throw across to make it easier for people to cross.
They do have the cannon over here. If you wanted to spend,
I point that at Jeremy, and I'm
Jeremiah.
I'm just kidding.
And
He sounds like a Jeremiah, you know what I'm saying?
I love how I keep on calling him Jeremy. You're like Jeremiah. God damn it,
look,
get it
I
right.
didn't even name him.
I know.
The Eugene named him, so really his feelings are the ones.
I
are
knew a
hurt. He's
Jeremiah.
the one who's offended.
I knew a Jeremiah in real life growing up. I gotta say, he's a bit of a fucking Jeremiah. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Anyway, so you follow after Ricardo. I need a notice check to not get lost.
yeah, you had. Was there a +1 or something like this on this roll?
No, nope. Literally not any bonus at all.
Just the fact that I did it was the reason why they can make it.
Yeah, they would have no way of following you if you didn't do it.
3.
Not good enough.
That is not good enough.
Why is your notice so low? What's up?
Lots of people have a D4 notice.
What's my notice before I get all up in arms? Yeah, why is your notice the same as mine?
Why do you all have no notice?
Well, I mean, here's the thing. We all have the skill notice, so when it comes to, getting 3 more points, we'll be able to upgrade a skill 2 skills, so don't feel too bad.
What do I come on a fork or like 5 different paths, and I just run down one, not even noticing anything?
Yeah, you'll basically get lost if you don't re-roll this. It's up to you.
I guess I'll spend another Benny.
I mean, yeah, I will remind you that we have like an hour and some change more show, and you still have 2 bennies. It's not like, or yeah. So you could just roll worse. That's another thing that you could do.
I'm gonna keep on running down.
All right, so you're just gonna get lost. That's fine.
Yep.
Don't worry. I'll use it. I'll make something of that.
Yeah, this is the Nickelodeon show, Temple of whatever.
Right.
Now am I gonna get slimed?
Stone.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm making some benny. I'm making you some bennies so that you can use bennies in the game. I'm just playing with Roll20 on another thing.
Oh, I thought you were gonna give me some more bennies to roll. Notice.
No. Why would I do that?
Because you're a nice guy.
There are tons of assets for bennies to port into Roll20 if that's what we wanted to do. Nice lighter. So you were ascending a staircase
Yes.
at the site of a sort of a battle that didn't go well for at least one or more groups of people. And now you're at the top of the stairs. You're at the top of the stairs when you hear footsteps approaching you rapidly.
I'm going to try and dart back round the corner and pretend to be something.
A bird.
A statue.
A stone. So you're trying to avoid this person.
Yes, not that I'm very good at like hiding.
Well, you're around a corner. I mean,
You just face the wall and hope they don't see you.
it does kind of work that way. I guess I'll odd or even.
Even.
All right. You successfully hide from this individual.
Well, you could just make me do an unskilled check on stealth.
It really wasn't about stealth. You were around a corner, so it was really about whether or not this person took this corner or not. Basically, you know what I'm saying?
Who is it?
Like they would have seen you, or now you're trying to see them. You're trying to spot them. I thought you were just trying to be around the corner.
Well, I'm going to let them run past, and as they run past, I'll see who they are.
Okay. In that case, it's Bjorn running down the hallway.
Okay.
I continue to remain hidden. No.
Fuck that guy.
Dion.
Who is that?
Who do you think it is?
Do I see him? Did you make yourself noticed, or are you just saying
Well,
I've got a torch.
if he speaks and he has a torch,
he may be around? You said he was around the corner.
right?
I don't know,
But
I
now
just hear
he's
a voice.
speaking. You're right.
Okay.
You hear a voice come from around a corner.
Stone, is that you?
I'll step out around the corner. It's
Sounds
me.
like Stone. What's up, Stone?
I found like a sink.
Found a sink.
Mhm.
That's cool. We got in a
I found
fight.
I found a load of rooms that aren't rooms.
Load of rooms.
Yeah, that aren't rooms.
God, did you hear that sneeze? That sounded like Ricardo. You must be close.
There's
Fucking
a load of people
racist.
going. There's loads of people down these going the opposite direction down here.
You sneeze like a Parisian.
I don't know where Ricardo. I haven't seen Ricardo, but there was our watch captain was in the group. I recognised him at the back.
Our watch captain.
Mm.
Well, I was chasing after Ricardo, so I
haven't
think
seen
he went down.
Ricardo.
And wreckage. So this is just a one-way thing.
What do you mean?
You
What's the
chose
question?
to go down a hallway without checking your notice, remember?
Yeah, I'm
So
trying
you're
to.
lost.
Yeah, I'm trying to understand. I came from one way. He
Right.
came from another way.
Yeah,
or from the
there's-
side, and then there's still
there's a bunch
still
of
another
branching
path.
paths. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's the point. Like he
Yeah.
knows that there's stuff down this way.
All right.
but he didn't see or hear Ricardo specifically. But he didn't also see the whole group, so he wouldn't. I don't know if Stone would say Ricardo definitely wasn't in the group.
I don't know. I don't know if he was in the group. I just saw a group of like people.
And one of them was the watch captain. So
Mm-hmm.
that does not sound like something we want to run into by ourselves. We should look for Ricardo. Is kind of what I've been doing. Kind of get the group back together. Eric's back at the helping some of the crewmates we had. They not really helping us out too much, as just not getting in our way. So he helped heal some of their guys, or is healing some of their guys.
All right. What's their plan of action? Because I fell down a hole for some reason. I'm still not sure why I did it.
Yeah, I don't understand why you jumped off that cliff either, into the chasm. I have a problem with that word, man. It's spelled funny.
It's got a H in it.
Yeah. So let's I guess do you have any idea where we are? Any layout of the map? Anything like that?
Well, currently we're in a corridor.
Yes, we are. And you said you found a sink.
Yeah, there's like loads of little there's a wet floor and there's no ceiling. There's these rooms, and I found this, and I'll pull out this whatever I found, that swordy thing.
Oh God, let me take a look at that. Is there anything I can? I don't know. Have I seen anything like this before, Wreckage?
It's shiny and green.
Let's do a roll to see how much knowledge you might have on this subject. You don't have a knowledge skill for this that's relevant. So you can roll repair or smarts at a -2. It'll be the exact same roll. So
right. I'll just do the repair.
Your wild die gets a 4. So that's a success. Oh wait, no, you didn't put in a -2. So you actually got a 2, not a 4. Never mind. You fail.
Okay.
It definitely looks like a sword, not one of a style that you've ever seen before, and it's certainly not made of metal. It's definitely a stone substance, but you're not sure how stone can be sharp or a sword.
This is really cool.
I know, it's shiny. That's what I picked up.
This is just
I'm not versed in what this is, or some kind of, is it glass or is it stone? I'm not sure, but how good is the craftsmanship?
Could you repeat that question?
How good is the craftsmanship? Is it like quality, or is it just, or could I discern that it was decently made at one point, or anything like
since
that?
You don't know anything about this type of object, you don't know where it falls on a scale of quality.
No.
So this could be the best version of this that has ever been made, or it could be the worst version. You have no scale to compare it against.
I take the sword and I take my thumb and brush it against, not like the sharp edge, but like kind of like how you would shave, not like the long way to cut yourself. See how sharp it is.
Oh, you just want to see how sharp it is? You cut your finger, it's sharp.
And that's not very smart, is it? That's like stupid level.
God damn it, James.
Well, I was just checking to see how sharp it was.
Well, you can
it
see
looks
it's sharp.
old. I have no idea if it is or not. Or
you can see it's sharp. Look, it looks sharp. It could probably cut paper.
it probably can. A lot of things can cut paper. But,
I love that knife test, by the way. That's my favorite thing.
Let's is there an actual handle? Like, can I use this thing, or is there no handle?
No, there's no handle.
The handle rotted away, but you could. I mean, I said to Stone, you could easily wrap the bottom of it in
I should have got
linen
that
or whatever.
belt. I could have wrapped it in that leather belt that I picked up. I forgot
Yeah.
to.
Yeah, he was
Well,
right there in front of you.
well, Stone, maybe I can. Would you
Maybe-
be interested?
Maybe you can
in,
convince him to go back down to that guy who fell to get the
Nah.
belt just to wrap it around the thing.
Would you be interested in a sword at all, or no? Because I could make a hilt for this when we get back to, I don't know, any kind of workshop or anything.
Somewhere not here, yeah.
Yeah, maybe to a boat or something.
It's really damp down there as well for some reason. There's lots of little water bits. And
Yeah, we're
I don't really
well
understand
below
it.
the.
it's all confusing.
Well, anyways, hold on to that. It's a good find. But let's
I'll wrap
let's
it back up.
keep to the task at hand, and I look for Ricardo. It's a maze down here. Don't know if we're gonna be able to find him, but I mean, we're not doing much good just standing here.
Oh,
So-
okay. Well, what way do you want to go then? Is it literally the only way you can come is the way that I'm going?
No,
you're
there's a
going
bunch
back,
of branching
yeah.
paths. The
Well,
only
Stone-
thing that the both of you, between the two of you, the only thing that you know is the stuff that is in the direction that Stone came from.
Why has the GM got gaffer tape or duct tape as they call it in America?
Yeah,
Who are you kidnapping?
myself.
His headphones.
I have to literally tape myself here to stay.
He's into some weird shit.
Or no, I'm so repulsed constantly by GMing and you people and your no, I just have tape and I'm fidgeting with it because I don't have a fidget spinner.
All right. I've been failing to find anyone.
Right.
Well, actually,
well,
I
you
mean,
found Stone
Well,
pretty well.
I
Actually.
Found you, but
Well, yeah, you found me. Yeah, that is true.
I guess
did
that
just find me.
I
You
did
find
find
someone.
you, but that's
And then
not
you
who I
just
was looking
leave a
for.
bunch of people. So you found people. You left people to go find some more people.
Well, I mean, since I left the people, I guess I found you, but more
Well,
you
there's more
found
people
me.
down the stairs. And there's some dead bodies downstairs as well.
Dead bot? Did you search them?
No, because they're all in a pile.
They may have clues. Maybe one has a map.
Well, I don't know. I didn't. Really
How
look.
far are they?
I don't know. More than 3.
More than 3
I know I can count to 6.
rooms?
I remember they taught me how to count to 6 because of dice. Because dice go up
Right.
to 6.
You can count to 6 now.
Mm-hmm. It was more than 6
More than
that way.
6 what? Rooms? People?
feet.
Feet.
Mm-hmm. Footsteps.
All right then.
I don't know. It's back that way.
And you
How
can
many,
literally
how,
just
how
peek
many
your head through.
masts is it?
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, if you look down there, there's a spiral staircase that leads down into
And that's at least 2 masts tall.
thingy, and then there's the pile of dead bodies, and then
You know what?
There's a corridor, and you go through that corridor,
Stone.
and there's
Stone. Just pick one of these corridors and we'll go down
I say
it.
we go back to where there were people.
Oh, you want to go down there now? I thought you didn't like
Well,
the
I
dead
didn't-
bodies.
Well, no, go past the dead bodies.
Okay, lead me to them.
Well, they've moved on, so we'll have to follow them.
Oh, follow. I thought you were saying the dead bodies. Oh, you want to follow the people?
Well, unless they've got up and they're not actually dead, then yeah, we don't want to follow.
Okay, let's follow the watch captain and that group of people.
Okay.
All right. So you will set down the path of following the watch captain and that group of people.
I'll also point that when we go past the rock cave-in thing that I had to pull the rock. I'll point in there that down there is the
Sink.
I've got the blade and the sink and the bath and the channel. Well, the canals. of
Yeah.
water. And I'm going to be like, that's where I think canals are born. You see, they sort of like start small and then they get bigger and bigger and bigger.
This is where all canals are born. They all come from here.
Yes, Stone. Yes.
When they get old enough, they travel around the world, find their home. So you guys will follow after the group that was with the watch captain, and you will pass along some hallways. After you get to where you'll see the bodies that I described earlier at the bottom of the staircase. After you pass the rubble that Stone just described, you'll start heading in the direction that they headed off into. You will head down some hallway, and you will come into a another large room. This one is notably more ornate than any other room that you've seen so far, either of you. It is it's a long, like, grand hall type thing with stone columns in rows supporting a tall ceiling, and the stones themselves are decorated and colored, although the color has faded over many years. There's but you can tell that they're like the decorative carvings on the walls and the columns were once painted with color. At the end of this long hall is stairs to a plinth, and on top of this is what appears to be some sort of altar or maybe an uncomfortable throne. It is been slid to one side so that it's off center, and behind it is another smaller hallway, like a hidden one. And there's torchlight emanating from that hallway.
Okay. There's light.
At the end of the tunnel?
Oh, I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna go back. I don't like this.
You don't like this?
No, I've heard it's bad to walk towards the light.
Fucking hell, man.
From who?
People on their deathbed or something.
Well, you're not on your deathbed.
Oh, okay.
And we're in a like tomb or temple or whatever. That may be an outside light. I don't know. I'd like to get out of here. I don't like being underground.
Oh, okay.
So you with me? You gonna approach this with me?
Sure. Let me hang on. I'll get my knuckle dusters out and put my knuckle duster on, just in case.
I like it. I guess I pull out my was it? I don't have a rapier. It's a scimitar. Cutlass. Yeah, that's what it is.
Cutlass.
Yeah. So yeah, and then I approach the light.
So on you have to pass this throne or altar or whatever it is that has been slid to one side. You can see from the moss and other like cobwebs and stuff that it has been recently slid to one side. Like the moss is all disturbed and the cobwebs are disturbed. And on the end of this sort of for stone, it's a very, very like this is a very tiny like passageway that you would have to for stone. It's going to be he'll be able to make it through just fine, but it's definitely going to be uncomfortable and there's a lot of crouching, and even Bjorn will have to crouch.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm not too small myself, so
right. So you're both going to have to sort of squeeze your way through here, but that's going to be fine.
I'm gonna be like to Bjorn. I'll be like, I don't like this power behind the throne type thing.
I'm sorry. Could you speak up? I couldn't hear you.
I said I don't like this power behind the throne thing.
Yeah.
Very, very literal power behind the throne. There's going to be a battery back here, and it's going to be the power behind the throne. You hear up ahead familiar voices and also voices that you don't recognize. And they're in the middle of a conversation. The captain, in fact, is down this hallway.
Interesting. So you guys found him ahead of me.
And they're in the middle of a conversation. Now, out of curiosity, are you going to stop and listen in and try and hide, or are you just going to walk in? Like I want to know when I start this conversation how it's going to be interrupted, if at all.
I guess I would be going first. I would put my hand on stone and
just
kind
listen
of
in.
and crouch and like kind of pull him down if I can, like get low and.
I'm
kinda
already fucking
stealth.
crouching, but yeah.
Well, I
sure,
know,
I'll
but like
crouch a
that's
bit more.
that's still what I do is like shh.
I'll turn away with the torch. Or try and turn away with the torch.
Oh shit, he's got a torch.
Well, I mean, that's not so bad. It's really just if you make a lot of noise.
Yeah. We do not.
Or come
We
bursting
try
in.
not to. Yeah.
Right. So Captain Ratbeard is talking with somebody else. It's not ready yet, you scabrous dog, and I'll have you not impugn me honor by suggesting that I've lied about any part of this little venture. And another voice that you haven't heard before retorts, "Impugn your honor? You leave me here on this godforsaken spit of rock for years, and you want to talk about impugning your honor? I swear to whatever god you believe in, if any, Captain Ratbeard, that if this don't work, I'm going to kill you. And not only am I going to kill you, I'm going to drag it out and make it hurt for days, years, if I can do it." And like you hear a bunch of cocking of pistols, and like somebody else says, "Now, gentlemen, please, there's no reason to come to blows. We've come this far. We have everything that we need. Just have some patience. The fighting is continuing throughout the temple. I'm sure it'll be sufficient soon." And the other guy says, "Soon? I've waited here for years. I'm not gonna wait for soon. I demand action now. Make this goddamn bloody contraption work immediately."
I think I figured it out.
And the more civil voice retorts, "Well, if you're so impatient, I do believe that certain devices throughout this facility can be triggered to expedite the process." "Well then, you piece of lily-livered shit, are you willing to pull the lever and be responsible for the lives of your own men slaughtered and like sheeps, like calves, like chattel?" And the other voice says, "Oi, give it here. I ain't got time or patience for any of those yellow-bellied pieces of shit." There is some sort of scuffle, some commotion coming from the room. And then there is the sound of stone on stone, like a lot of stone on stone.
Damn. There's a fucking
Stone multiplied.
There's
Yeah.
a fucking fan fiction if I've ever heard it before.
And we will
Stone. Cut that shit out.
we'll slide back to Ricardo.
Yeah, I just finished killing everyone in the room wreckage. So
Got it. So this argument, you hadn't made any specific headway when we last left you. Some people still want to go after the interlopers. Other people just want to go to the boat. At this point, you haven't made a specific. You haven't taken a specific action.
Mhm.
Hold on a second, Yujun, can you join?
Say yes, say yes, say yes.
I mean, it's not that big of a deal if you can't, but I'd like to. Now would be like a good time for you to join if you're going to. Otherwise, we're gonna move into the climax of the episode.
Oh, that was quick, Stone.
When there's stone on stone action, he moves into the climax quickly.
Yes, Henley.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So I guess realistically, I'm just like,
Hey.
Hey.
okay, shit. Well, let me see if I can fix
Broken
this.
everything.
You have.
Hi.
Hello.
I'm glad you could join us before the end.
So you've all done all of the work, and now I'm here to claim
All of the work.
The glory, yeah.
Well,
We did much work.
I'll keep it simple. We followed what happened with Stone during the last episode, which was just some exploring of an abandoned temple. Ricardo learned a little bit about the castaways that have been here, and tried to rally some of them to go after the captain. Bjorn got lost after scaling the gap without
I built
you.
half a bridge ramp.
Yeah, he got lost, ran into Stone, and then both of them together, Stone had heard where the captain went, so they went off to the captain alone.
I didn't hear where it was.
Captain
was
of
a
the
night.
watch.
Yeah,
Right.
Night watch.
Yeah, the watch captain. He heard the watch captain in a group of people and followed after him. And now there's been some sort of argument between a group of people, one of whom claims to have been left here for years by Captain Ratbeard and Captain Ratbeard about some sort of contraption not working. And
It's infernal the machine.
It needs more souls.
It needs
Yeah.
blood. I think. I'm thinking of Blade, where you
Yeah.
know, the blood travels along the canals and.
anyway,
Oh,
so
damn.
you've just let's
It's that circuitry.
we're gonna resolve something with Dave here, but then you'll be done with your medicine, basically, which is what you were doing. What is so funny?
Farrell has added a new command called Thick Vines.
Oh god. Oh my god.
You missed a part earlier where Tyler was asking whether or not vines were thick enough for him to make a bridge with them, and he basically did this.
Yeah, no, I'm watching the GIF. It's well done, Prylor. Well done.
Too much teeth, right? Too much teeth.
Well, I mean, honestly, when it's that big, I'm not sure you have any other option. If you have teeth and it's that large, I'm pretty sure too much teeth is always going to be what happens.
Basically, most of the group is now leaving, or they're going to get their shit together. They're going to these side cubicles that I described in this room in particular.
Mm-hmm.
There's all these, like, you'd almost consider them, like if you went into one of those tombs in Skyrim, all those alcoves for bodies, that's what they all look like. But there's no mummies in them, though. That, like, people have set up their bunks in them here.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to go to their places and like get their weapons and their shit, and they're going to go after the boat. Most of them, some of them are heart set on going deeper in. Now, since there's any number of them that are willing to go deeper in, are you satisfied, or are you going to try and sway some hearts and minds?
I just need someone to guide me down there, man. I'm more proficient by myself. I don't really rely.
So you're
on...
like one guy. Hey, give me one guy.
Yeah, like just fucking someone who knows where they're going, you know. But you know, a distraction's always good. So if there's more people going down, I'm going to go with them. But I'm also going to be not with them, if that makes any sense.
All right. So if you're just going to accept things as they are, then everyone's going to, like, you'll get at least one.
The only issue is that they leave with the boat, which is the only way off the island. But it's not the only way off the island for us. So.
Right. So it's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
So you'll get at least one plucky young guy, like, oh, I'll lead you through the temple. I know my way around. Pip pip, cheerio.
Why do you
Very
talk like
cheery
that?
fellow.
I'm a very plucky young individual.
Obviously from the Isle of Green.
The Emerald Isles, you mean?
Yeah, whatever they call it.
Yeah.
Oh, all sorts of people have all sorts of accents around. It's been very consistently inconsistent.
Perfect. So yeah, I'm satisfied with that. Yeah.
As people are getting ready, and remember, there's treating their wounded. They're washing off bloody bandages in the channel. There's a great rumble through the whole temple, and stone falls everywhere.
Damn it, Stone.
There's just
Tripping over himself.
It's just gonna be a thing for the rest of the fucking game.
Yep.
One of the characters named themselves after a feature that you will frequently encounter.
I'm gonna name my next character Wood.
But,
That's what I was gonna say. Wood.
You got a fucking. I thought we were gonna be on a boat.
Well, that's fair, but
Yeah,
anytime you're on land, there's probably going to be some amount of stone. This is a little bit worse. You're in a big stone temple.
Temple to
Now,
me.
if you named yourself Wood, you'd be like, "Records, is there any wood around?" Why, yes, there is, right there.
A rope
Eric,
would be good as well.
you've just got done treating Jeremiah's men. And, that was the price of him letting you go on without him, basically, and not getting in trouble, right?
And his hat.
Yes.
Did we agree to give you?
Yes.
He gave.
Right, because his
He made the
his great grandmother.
joke. Yeah.
Right, his great grandmother was a see you next Tuesday. He didn't appreciate it. It was her hat, but he doesn't care. Right, that was the whole joke. So you have a hat now, a big hat. Right, yes.
Props.
Thank you.
Not to scale.
Not to scale. It's a bigger, nicer hat that more correctly fits the head of Eric, son of Eric.
Imagine there's a feather too.
It's not a feathered hat.
Oh man.
He's not the captain.
Right. No, that would be ostentatious. Are you going to try and jump the gap? So to describe what Bjorn did while you were gone, Bjorn decided that it would be too difficult to build a whole bridge, so he built just enough of one to make the jump easier.
So I would like to clarify, our smith, our incredibly talented smith, who's traveling the
With
world
no tools.
for rare materials,
To build a sword.
decided that
To build a sword.
bridge was too difficult for him and just gave up halfway through.
Look.
You're really earning your keep.
Yo.
In
there-
RPGs, you may have a craft skill and be good at everything, but he is a swordsmith or an axe smith. He's a weaponsmith, okay? You don't ask a weaponsmith
Armor.
to build a bridge.
as well, and jewelry.
I'm just saying, to become a swordsmith, you generally learn metallurgy.
Oh no,
And you work your way up.
I was gonna say yeah.
Right, sure.
I
He
build
knows
stuff
plenty
for
of
boats,
metallurgy.
too. Like the metal parts for boats that hold things together and stuff. So
Nobody builds metal bridges, and he didn't have a whole forge just lying around.
I'm just... Mainly, it wasn't a skill question. It was a laziness question.
I don't have my
Yeah,
tools
no,
either.
I'm
He's
going
pressed
to,
for time.
Yeah, I'm going to propel myself off this half bridge.
And the bridge breaks.
All right, make an agility check.
Wunderbar. Eric, son of Eric, is very, very agile. I'm going to channel my inner Henley. I should also note that I'm not terribly agile, but I've got I've got the overconfidence to make it, I'm sure. All right. Hey, a 5.
Yeah, you don't even have to spend a Benny, which Bjorn did.
Whee!
And still failed.
Yeah, and well, no, that was about the getting lost one.
Oh, get it? Yeah, sorry, that's right.
As soon as you land on the other side, the entire temple starts to shake, and stone starts to fall everywhere.
You're that heavy.
That's a
I
funny
pat my
one.
belly. Really gotta lay off the snacks.
Ricardo, in your room, there's all this shaking and rumbling, and also the cries of dying men.
Like in this room?
Yes. All of those little side cubicles have suddenly become ventilated with spikes.
You could say that it was a very prolific sleeping area.
Yeah.
Did they not check for spikes or anything?
Magic spikes.
Okay.
I don't know about you, but I make sure to check for my dead sleeping holes for spikes whenever I sleep.
Listen, so obviously it was an ossuary. There were skeletons in holes. They just left the skeletons there out of reverence because, you know what? You move a skeleton in an ossuary on a magic island in a stone temple, suddenly you're a goddamn bullfrog. You don't know how you're going to live as a bullfrog in a stone temple in an ossuary in a magic island in the middle of the ocean. You have no idea. Are you a freshwater frog? You don't know. So you don't touch those skeletons. But you know what's behind them skeletons? Spikes.
So you know what I do?
Frog?
I grab the shoulders of the
Are there saltwater frogs?
Maybe. I don't know. I'm not a frogologist.
Got
Sorry,
him.
it raised the question. Are there saltwater frogs? I don't know. I don't think there are.
I'm sure there probably are.
I mean, Google would tell you, man. I mean, you're talking to people across the world on a strange series of interconnected tubes.
Dave, you were saying.
It's called a turtle.
You were grabbing the shoulders of the plucky young boy and taking him into your tender embrace.
Yeah, no, I turn him away from his friends. Being...
Don't watch, son.
No, I turn him away and I'm just like, it's all right. You have a job now. Lead me down.
Oh, my friends just fucking died, and you want me to do a fucking job for you?
Don't you want to get the man who did this?
I'm still dying over here.
I grab him by the collar and I just go. You do your goddamn job.
It's right through my thigh, my shoulder, my spleen.
I agreed to help you for no. It's not. You're not paying me. I don't have a job to do. My friends are dying. Also, you don't know that someone is responsible for this.
I do know. This is why I need your help.
What?
Oh, sweet Jesus. I tell you what, either you stay here and you die like the rest of your friends, or you come with me and you live.
Well, there's no spikes right here. I'm perfectly fine right here.
At least tell me how to get down there.
Well, if they're down on the second level, you take 2 lefts, and then there's this long spiral staircase. And at the bottom, there should be a bunch of me friends, totally alive and not dead. And then you'll go down a hallway. You'll take another right, and you'll go. There'll be a big. They're probably going to the big room with the altar in it. I'm gonna just assume.
Good assumption. I'm going to follow his directions.
All right.
I'm not going to convince a man to follow me. That's just silly.
Yeah, who would spend 3 hours doing that and fail?
Good question.
Eric, son of Eric.
Yeah.
The whole temple is shaking.
With anticipation.
And also you hear now you probably yourself, as in Eric, son of Eric, have not heard this sound. As a video gamer, you've definitely heard the sound of
spikes grating.
Right, grating spikes and buzzsaws and swinging.
The sound of mechanical death.
Is this Sen's Funhouse? What are we?
You hear a boulder in the distance starting rolling your way.
Yeah, no, you just hear the sounds of mechanical death. Now
Eric, son of Eric, is afraid of no whirling death. I'm assuming I also hear the sounds of screaming and pain.
Oh yeah, there's lots of men dying up ahead.
You know what I thought of just now? The fucking sound effect from Futurama of the suicide booth. when the knife comes down, it's like, you are now dead. You know? Yeah, some vines fall off the entrance, and it literally just says
suicide
booth on the entrance.
25 doubloons.
25 doubloons.
Anyway, I run towards the sound of mechanical death and actual death.
You will run into Ricardo, who is following the directions of so-and-so.
Ricardo! I thought you might be dead.
Why would you think such a thing?
I indicate behind me to the sounds of death and...
Well, there's death in all... Like, you hear screaming and dying everywhere.
I like the idea that I say that, and then there's this... in the back of the thing. And I just got my hand on my hip, and I'm just like...
that.
It's like... Oh, no. That is the sound of... how do I put this? Unskilled individuals. And then you see a man like on fire behind me, just running down a hallway. I'm like,
I are those the captain's men or the not captain's men?
Oh no! It turns out this island is inhabited with people who are. They don't want to live very long.
Problem solved.
Yeah, I mean, they were laying inside of a place where you put corpses, so I don't know. I don't have much respect for them.
Well, I couldn't convince those guys to join us.
Follow. Let's
to join us.
No. Listen, they would not be much help anyway. They
my leg! Ah!
They
Well, they're certainly not going to be much help now.
No, I don't think so. But good news, they might fix the ship before we get back, so...
Good news.
Good news.
Well, let's go kill the captain and figure out what the hell he's hiding, yes?
Yes, follow me. Apparently there is some sort of sacrificial altar down here.
Oh, wonderful. You know where you're going. That'll be a nice change of pace.
As you guys go along, you notice that a lot of these hallways have like spikes and or other death traps. But the general deteriorated nature of the temple and the hallways themselves means most of the traps along the path that you guys are going along are misfired or not particularly still deadly.
It's also worth pointing out, I have a edge called Thief, which will notice or repair rolls gives me a +2 for traps and similar devices.
All right. Well, if you want to repair any of these, then you're welcome to stop and spend the time.
I mean, specifically for notice rolls. So.
Yeah.
And I suppose you would probably also use repair to disarm.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
That's why that's the intended flavor of that, I assume.
Yeah.
Bjorn and Stone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The whole temple has been shaking after that argument that they had, and also the sounds of screaming death are echoing through the hallways throughout the whole temple.
Maybe we should go, like, turn it off or something.
You just walk up to the lever and just pull it back down and just go back into the corridor you're hiding.
Nothing happened here.
I'm nothing but a falling stone.
There's nothing to see here.
What are the people doing in the room?
So
still at a standoff, or
menacingly rubbing their fingers together.
You don't have line of sight. You could only hear them from where you are because you haven't moved into the room yet. And if you did, then you'd have to do a stealth check to stay hidden. You could do that if you wanted to see what they were doing. But after a while, like with all the screaming and agony that's echoing through the temple, the Captain Ratbeard is the one to say, Well, I hope you're happy. I'm sure that'll get things moving along quite quickly now. And the other guy says, I won't be happy until I'm off this godforsaken spit of rock. There's more banter between the two that follows along that line and the previous conversation I had. I'm not going to talk to myself for 15 minutes just for flavor.
I don't know. That sounds like a good fucking show.
Sounds like fun. Yeah, well played with yourself.
Stone. What are you?
I'm waiting for you.
Waiting for me?
Yeah, you're blocking the fucking entrance.
That is correct. Do we?
I'm a stone, I'm not a doorway.
Okay, I guess we go into the room.
It's flying.
All right, so are you trying to make a stealth check, or are you just bursting in? Like, what's...
Kool-Aid
I'm just
man.
gonna fucking burst in, man.
Start throwing rocks at people.
I'm going to like think about hiding, and then I realize Stone's behind me and just forget about it.
You could suggest that he also hide.
No.
No, you're just not. Neither of you are gonna hide.
I could attempt to, but I'll be massive. I'll be rubbish. I'll be rolling.
Yeah, we don't have stealth.
And a D6 at -2.
We're not Ricardo.
All right. So you guys, what? Like, I don't know. Are your swords drawn? Like, are you menacing? Are you trying to make a big splash? Describe to me how you enter this room.
Well, he has his knuckles,
right?
His brass knuckles on. I have my cutlass out, and
he's got the torch.
I just walk into the room nonchalantly. I'm not trying to be menacing or anything.
All right, so you two walk into the room nonchalantly, and 1, 2, 3, 4.
I mean, I do. I don't know what Stone does.
So 45 pairs of eyes turn to greet you immediately.
Someone's got one eye.
Actually, several of them have only one eye, but they make up the total.
I said 45 pairs of eyes, not 45 eyes.
Yeah, this guy has one eye, that guy has another eye. That's a pair of eyes.
Right. So there's even more than 45 people, apparently. Yeah. Yes, you are adding people to the... You've added at least 6 to their numbers now with that joke.
I turned to Stone like, God, that did not sound like this many people.
So to summarize in the brief moment before anything happens, there are a group of castaways that number about 20. And their leader, who's a tall, lanky man who has fine clothing on, but it's definitely very worn and ragged. And he's standing up on a plinth with Captain Ratbeard and the record keeper from the ship.
The one that was ill.
The one that was ill. And those 3 are standing up on a plinth. And then the rest of the people are the captain's sort of inner circle, the captains of the watch, the quartermaster, some other people that you thought were just random crew members.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
going to be like, what's going on in here then?
Oh, we're having a tea party, Mr. Stone.
Maybe, look, I'm not that dumb. I can clearly tell you're not having a tea party.
We're just starting the tea party. We haven't gotten to the tea party yet.
All right.
All right. He just joins like the group of people.
Mine's milk with 2 sugars, please.
Absolutely, Mr. Stone. Could you please see to Mr. Stone's reservation, quartermaster?
There's a fat guy here, is he? Oh, shit.
Yeah, and he says, "Aye, Captain." And he comes around, and he literally has irons. You know, the Clapham irons.
Oh, fuck off! No.
I punched his head off.
Push his head off. So he's approaching you and Bjorn with some irons.
I'm not that quick, but I wanted to grab the irons out of his hands and then put him in irons and goes, ah.
But then you accidentally get ironed together, you know, then it becomes like one of those buddy cop movies.
Yeah, buddy cop. You're both about the same size, so that would be, you know.
I came in like a wrecking ball.
Well, the comedic recipe is one very large gentleman, one very small gentleman. I mean, two large gentlemen doesn't fill the recipe right.
That way you can swing the other one around.
Yeah.
Hit people with them.
Yeah, I'm not going to let him put fucking irons on me.
Nice.
Punch him in the face.
Punch him in the butt.
You don't do the crush, head crush?
Well, so if you don't, if the pair of you don't appear to be acquiescing, the captain will, he draws his pistol and he'll say, "Now, surely you can agree that this is a better arrangement than the 2 score of us killing the 2 of you, which I'm quite certain we could do."
Can I grab the fat bastard and like put him up as a shield and tell Pylor to head back down the corridor, and we'll use that as a bottleneck?
Man, I was thinking the same exact thing.
Now, you could certainly try. The quartermaster is big and strong as you, so it would be an opposed strength roll, and you might not succeed. So what I'm saying is your character can see that he is a strong person, and that might not be easy. But you certainly can attempt it.
I believe in you.
Sure. Fuck it. Let's do it.
All right.
In the place of glory. A glory? Whatever glory is. I don't know. I just made up a word.
Is there anything I can do to assist him?
Like you would have to describe a way in which you are assisting him, and then I would allow you to assist in the task. But you would have to figure out a narrative way in which you can actually somehow assist him.
Stab him in the leg. Weaken him somehow.
Granted, that would probably help him grapple, but if you were to attack, then that would probably transpire before Stone got him in a grapple, which means you guys would probably end up in an initiative and get shot at. So, like, you would have to assist specifically in the grapple, but I'm not sure. It's 2 big guys grappling each other. I'm not sure you want to get in between.
Punch him in the nuts. Kick him in the nuts.
All right.
Fighting dirty.
So here's what I'll say. You can make a fighting check at -2, and if you make it, then you can kick him in the nuts before Stone attempts his roll. And if you succeed, then it'll assist.
May actually write the -2 this time.
We can also just remember to take it off of your score. I'm not sure that actually works.
Do I put it in the minus or in the skill mod or the skill?
I'm not sure. Try that, I guess. Well, you put that into agility. It's a fighting roll. Oh, skill -2. What? Did that work? I think it did.
Yeah,
because I think you rolled a 6 and then instead you rolled a 4.
No, it has a -2 in there. It has a 6 and then it adds a -2 in there. So yeah.
Yeah. So he rolled a 6. Yeah. So his score is a 4.
Yeah.
All right. That's good enough to succeed. So for the versus check between the quartermaster and Stone, the quartermaster will have -2 to his roll.
Yeah, kick that guy right in the nuts.
You see him with the irons and just me run up.
All right, Stone, roll your strength.
So I'm trying to grapple him, I guess, would be the thing.
Yeah.
Is there rules for grappling?
I'm just gonna make it opposed strength checks.
So roll your strength, buddy.
I don't know if there's more specific rules. I don't know how much more convoluted the rules could possibly.
Wank.
I mean, you beat him. No.
Yeah.
Does the quartermaster get a?
No, they tie.
Can he
So-
use the Benny?
I'm going to use a Benny, yeah. Can
Yeah, you could
can
use a
someone
Benny.
Use a Benny for me, please.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that's your last Benny.
No, he has one more Benny.
Oh, I thought he had already spent 2.
No,
All right, that's fine.
I got the list there.
Oh, there we go. 10.
Whew.
God damn it! What is it with you and your fucking strength rolls, man? Could you stop it?
You accidentally kill him.
No, you
He
don't
like
actually
karate checks
kill
his
him.
neck and his
Yeah.
neck.
no, I'm
but-
literally just... It's a grapple. I'm not hurting him.
It's a
I know,
grapple
I'm
with
kidding,
a
I'm
raise.
kidding.
And I'm going to
You
spin
pick
him
him-
around in front of me.
You pick him
Yeah,
up.
you
and
get-
Going to
throw him.
start.
You get 1 raise. So you're grappling him, and you're going to use that to sort of segue out of the room where nobody else could, like, reasonably get at you. Is there something more like? So you succeed, so you'll be able with Bjorn to back into this small crawl space and pull him with you and sort of use him as a shield. Is there something else that you would like to tack onto that with your raise? Some
Suggestions?
additional piece of utility.
You could perhaps say that in your grapple, you actually, you would grab them by the neck to move him backwards, so he's actually unconscious and unable to continue to struggle.
I'm gonna say
Is that-
perhaps you use the shackles to actually shackle him as well.
It's
so
more
that
of
he
a
can't break
grapple.
loose.
I'm not really agility based.
But you got to raise, is what I'm saying. So
Well,
What can I-
that's why I said, like, you basically just choke him out on your way back. He's not dead, he's just unconscious. That way you
I
don't
don't
have to
wanna carry
go with
around
a
this
very
dead
strong man in your hidey hole.
Pardon? You said something, James?
I said I don't want to carry around a dead weight.
Right, that's a valid
'Cause
point.
he's a fat bastard. He's someone who's eaten. He's eaten all the pies.
Why don't we sit on this raise, and if it becomes relevant later,
What can I do with a raise though? What?
On strength?
Yeah, I'm just.
well,
trying
it's
to
not
think
about it's not about the specific skill; it's about the context. So if you succeed with a raise, you get to do, like, you get to declare
Could I
something
have him in a
additional.
bind that he can't actually get out of somehow.
I couldn't make it so that it's impossible for him to get in out of the bind. I could give you bonuses to the grapple that for, like, if he tries to break out of it.
I'll just bop him on the head and knock him out. Unless you want me to unless you want me to roll damage as well.
Yeah, like just because you succeed with a raise on a grapple doesn't mean you just get to take somebody out. That's kind of too
Okay,
much.
Yeah. All right. I just have an advantage over him, maybe.
Yeah,
Just,
we'll
his
sit on this
advice.
raise, and if it comes up as the situation progresses, then we'll say we can apply it later.
Like a hold or something. Yeah.
Well, if something specifically happens with the grapple later, then we can have that raise apply.
You could also pat him down, see if he has anything on him.
Disarming him would be fine, like leaving his weapons behind.
Does he have a
Or giving
pistol?
them to Bjorn.
He's got a ton of weapons. He's the quartermaster. He's got like 6 pistols,
Okay. Well, they're going to be passed over to Bjorn.
two cutlasses.
Sure, I'll pass
Yeah.
them over to Bjorn.
I don't think I won't let your raise.
He might
'Cause
just have a bandolier of pistols that he just takes
Yeah,
off or whatever.
you don't have time to like do all that. I'll let you like
Okay.
literally cut I'll let you cut his belt that has all of his weapons, and they fall into the room, and you leave him behind.
I don't really have a blade to cut it, so that
I'm
doesn't
not
make-
really doing anything. Could I not just pick them up
90%.
as we're running?
Well, you're trying to use this guy as a shield because otherwise they're just going to shoot you.
Yeah.
So
you're
you
gonna
have to
get
leave
behind.
first, right?
Okay.
Like you and Stone are both leaving in this
I'm
exact
gonna-
moment.
I'm going to say something to the captain though as we exit the room. I'll
Sure.
be like, it's going to be like, yeah, try shooting us now if we blubber guts here.
He
As
does.
you wish, Mr. Stone. Open fire.
Blap, blap. Sounds of the guns.
And
Blap,
then they
blap.
shoot their guns, and then it's going to take them forever to reload.
Ooh, yeah. This man knows how to fuck. All right.
That is absolutely the case. They're going to
Unless they have
fire,
multiple guns.
and it's going to take them a while to reload unless they have multiple guns. But also, we have to resolve like 30 shots of pistol that are coming at you when you have cover. So
Blat blat, they all hit the fat man.
probably a lot of them will, which is
Yeah, but there's only so much a fat man can stand up and
yeah.
take.
Well,
You know what I mean? Like he's gonna
Well,
be
once
dead.
the-
He's gonna be dead weight at a particular moment in time, and then you're gonna have to drag a fat man back if you want cover.
Full of lead.
Yeah.
I mean, in fairness,
Lead
though,
doesn't
he'll
weigh
be-
that much, though.
and he'll lose a lot more blood and organ to the blat blat than he would gain in lead weight.
No.
yeah, no, I think you definitely gain more.
You would not.
Lead's pretty fucking heavy.
I mean,
No,
like
a lead round from these kind of bullets is about this big, and in total weight, it's going to be almost nothing.
How much cover have we got? I mean, we've got a corridor and a fat man.
yeah, you're gonna have
I
like
spent my
maximum
elementary
cover.
and high school years
Okay.
making bullets.
Near
So-
total cover, attacking through a very tight opening that provides near total cover, such as a narrow slit.
A 50 cal
So-
bullet, though.
So
These
those
aren't 50 cal bullets.
These
dude.
aren't 50?
No,
I
No,
thought
they're-
most-
They're
I thought most-
muskets.
yeah, I know, but they
They're
have 50.
musket balls.
They're still
gonna be-
50 caliber.
and they're going to be hopefully.
These are
accurate as well.
pistols. Pistols and muskets. They're balls.
I know.
These are all smoothbore.
I know. I own a black powder pirate gun, and it is a 50 cal round that the bullet is.
And
Okay,
so-
30 of them, assuming all 30 would hit, would be less than 15 pounds.
It's true. I don't know that he necessarily loses more than 15 pounds of blood getting shot, but 30 pistol musket shots is what it takes for 1 pound of lead. So apparently, I'm reading up on musket balls at this exact moment. Not that it was ever actually relevant to the scenario.
So the maximum minus is -6 for cover.
To the attack roll.
Mhm.
So a lot of them. Hold on, let me just double check something here. I'm pretty sure that means most of these guys cannot succeed.
Yeah. You'd only really have to roll the hero or the wild cards in that situation, I guess, right?
Well, or anybody who has a trait higher than a D6.
Yeah. Like you would assume that most of them would miss. Or at least I would assume most of them would miss, and then you would just roll the wild cards and see how they do. The point of that whole thing happening was that I guess the mooks wouldn't have guns, right, at that point. Or they would
But if a
have to
mook
be-
has a D8 or higher, then he can still technically hit.
I mean, you need to get higher than a 4, right, to hit. Oh no, I guess
All dice
combat
explode.
is
Yeah, all
Ex-
dice explode in this game. So
even. Okay, yeah. All right.
yeah, even D4s and even the D4s of mooks. So
I mean, wouldn't it just be easier to roll like 20 d4s and just see which ones get higher?
Well, D4s are going to ace anyway.
Yeah, but if you roll 20 d4s,
I don't know
then
which ones explode. So
And then you
but if
just
roll 20
re-roll all the
D4s,
all the
of
fours.
fours
Yeah.
exploded. Then you can roll that many fours again.
Yeah, but 4's going to.
And then you'd need
4's going to.
So what I have to do is
Fours-
group them into people who have different skill ratings, and I can roll all the skill ratings at the same time.
I mean,
Yeah.
the way. I mean, mooks are supposed to be like groups. So they just do one action between the lot of them.
yeah, but when
Mm.
they're firing 30 guns, it's a little.
Yeah,
different.
that's a bit different than just like all bad guys are just a group. It's like you're taking a whole hail of gunfire here.
Now,
So,
if it's anything like Star Wars, right, where like the more mooks in a group, the more powerful they are, right? Like that makes.
I don't
sense.
think Savage Worlds has those rules. At least I don't see them anywhere.
Yeah. It's too
Perhaps that's the case. I'm not a Savage Worlds master yet. Right. Anyway, I'll just quickly resolve this as fast as possible.
Mass battles. Okay, that's for like 7,000, man. Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah, That's a
Really?
little too many.
Yeah, that's incredible. All right.
So the good news is, of the people who only had a D4, only one of them exploded.
Yeah.
Um,
Wow.
so-
How many people did you roll?
15. 15 people have a D4 in their chute.
Damn, that's some trash rolls right there.
Which does mean that he gets the explosion. And does that one guy hit?
You'd need like You'd need like a 3 on that.
Yeah. He does not hit. So none of the D4s hit.
I mean, they do, just not the players, I guess.
Yeah. Well, some number of them hit the wall. Some number of them hit the corridor. A huge number of them hit the guy. Huge.
Guy.
All right, now we roll the people who have D6s. Okay. Only 2 of them exploded.
It's kind of interesting. They do a lot of morale-based roles in this game, which is kind of interesting. It doesn't really work in like a small, like, zoomed-in version of the game, but like, for example, if you were using the mass battles rules here, they would get like extra modifiers for like having numbers advantage and stuff like that.
Interesting. We'll have to get into that sometime.
Yeah, they have like, modifier for they get a +1 for every token that like for every round that they outnumber us, every single person on the opposite team gets a +1 to their roll. Because of morale sort of thing, and
Trying to get us killed, Dave.
no, I'm just saying, like, there are some interesting things in here.
Yeah.
All right. So of the 45 people, including several enemies who are themselves wild cards and therefore had wild dice and could reroll, only 2 of them rolled high enough to score a hit.
Wow.
So
that's pretty good considering 45 people took shots at you.
-6 to a roll is brutal.
Yeah.
Like, that's devastating. I'm really surprised because two of those NPCs have D10s and are wild cards, and they both missed.
Mm-hmm.
And in fact,
he is pretty fat. So.
In fact, 2 of the hits came from mooks who had D6s and had to explode multiple times to land their hits.
Wow.
Anyway, that's a hit each, we'll say. And so you'll both be shaken as you leave.
Don't they get resistance with their parry?
I think guns just fucking hit, right?
Yeah.
I thought guns did flat damage.
They have a damage. Yeah, they do
so you
damage.
Still have to go above their toughness, don't you?
Right. What is their toughness?
Okay.
7 here.
So range, bonus damage, rate of fire. Okay. Cover. Near total cover is -6, which we did. Damage.
Had to taunt them, didn't you, Stone?
I think you were going to get shot at either way. Just a guess. I mean,
All right.
granted,
A flintlock pistol is 2d6 + 1 for damage.
Let me
Yeah.
make Stone feel bad.
It's compared to the victim's toughness.
Give me that.
Like a trait. So whatever your toughness is, like they have to beat that with their damage.
Right. So we'll roll Stone's hit.
If these guys got a raise, which they did, they would also take them. Well, their 6s exploded, right? Which is a raise.
Right, but they didn't get a raise.
They didn't get over 4.
So
needed to
raise is 4 over what you need to hit.
Ah, okay.
Not 4 over 4.
I get you. Yeah.
So stone, there's 10 damage coming at you, and there's 7 damage coming at Bjorn.
My
does
toughness
toughness
is
do?
7.
Yeah,
So
my
you take
toughness is
nothing.
7.
Well, then you,
A shaken, yeah. You take
just shaken.
Can I spend
they-
a penny to ignore that damage?
You can spend a Benny to remove the shaken or ignore the damage. So either way, it's the same result.
Mm-hmm.
You spend your last Benny, and essentially it's the same thing as Bjorn. Neither of you actually technically get hit. I mean, you get grazed or whatever, and it doesn't matter.
Yeah, you can do it any
I,
point.
I Superman that shit. Bounced off my chest.
Oh, if you're Superman,
You'll be-
you should have
That's 'cause
saved
you're
the
behind
family.
me.
So
Sure,
uh,
I'm going to spend my last penny to ignore the shaking.
Roger that,
Okay.
Big Mama.
all right, you're just fine then. Let's sidewipe over to Eric, son of Eric, and Ricardo.
I'm going to go use the bathroom.
All right.
So as I was talking to them, they basically just laid in their beds and
You think it has something to do with the captain?
honestly, I do believe that the captain has greater intentions within this place. I also believe that more people will show up because he basically ruined his only way off the island. So
So were these guys? I mean, I know they were fighting the captain back there. Was their whole intent to fight the captain, or
I don't know. For all we know, they could just be trying to amass a large amount of death in this place for some, mythological reason. But that would be so far-fetched, I wouldn't even believe it.
I just really hope at the end of all of this, there's something worth it. To be entirely honest with you, Ricardo.
Well, it could be a very large amount of gold. It could be a wish. I don't know.
There's a lot of rumors.
I wish I could actually drink something right now.
But they would hear
So
this
goddamn
gunfire,
thirsty.
so...
I mean, they're hearing all sorts of death and whirring of machine. And yeah, they do hear gunfire also in the distance. A lot of it.
Okay. I'm gonna do my best to be like, maybe you should lag a little bit behind me there, Eric. Just in case we run into someone.
Well, if you think so, but I see no reason to be afraid of these clowns.
Just as you're suggesting to split up, I
don't mean split up. I mean just like he lags behind. But yeah.
Just as you're suggesting that he lags behind you or splitting up or whatever it is you're suggesting, the point is it happens in that moment. I'm going to need an agility check from both of you.
Oh, hi, Mark. I don't like these clowns. Oh, hi, Mark. Yeah. Okay, agility. Yeah.
Yep.
I have rolled a 4.
Okay,
That is a
so
success.
I get a +2 on this one. Wow. 7.
That is a success with a raise. No, not with a raise. Never mind. Sorry. That's just a success.
Okay.
It
would have been if
4.
it was an 8, yeah.
Yeah. The DC is always 4. The floor has fallen out from underneath you, but not in like a pit trap kind of way.
Just like in a broke-ass motherfucking house kind of way.
No, in like a ramp sort of way.
Like, get to this other room faster kind of way.
Kind of.
A slide.
In fact, a lot of things are happening that you don't quite understand all at once. The floor sort of falls into a ramp, into a room that's below you. And at the same time, the walls that made up your hallway that you were in are lifting away and moving away.
Okay.
The whole temple is still shaking as it was before, and large bits of stone are now falling all around. You can see that you can now see into other hallways that you were previously into as these walls move away, and they're actually like big sections of like cubicle stone, as opposed to like 4 separate walls and a space in between or anything like that. Like there are cubes of stone everywhere, and they're moving along, and they're being carted along on like complicated systems of chains.
Okay.
Chains and gears, and you can see that because of the age of the place, there are sections that aren't moving that are supposed to be moving, like their chains are rusted through and broken, or their gears are jammed. You see one hunk of cube like that's trying to move along to a certain place, and as it's doing that, its mechanism falls apart, and there's just a thunderous clatter of, you know, a house-sized piece of stone like colliding with the earth beneath it. And so there's chaos everywhere, basically.
I'm sorry, all I can think about is, have you seen that video of when they take like Dark Souls and they retexture everything to be like Mr. Krabby, something like that, or SpongeBob or something?
I've seen the Shrek one.
Yeah, the Shrek one. Yeah, like all I can think about is just the entire dungeon that we're in right now is just textured with Eric's face, or James's face. Anyway,
the room that your hallway has emptied into, which, by the way, because of your agility checks, neither of you take any damage or fall or stagger it anyway. You're still in total control of your faculties and your footing. The room that this has fallen into is the room that Stone was in earlier, the one with all the channels going to a well. And as you gaze into this space, the lower ceiling that was there is sort of made up of all of these pieces of stone that are moving away. And you can see that these stone pieces are drenched in blood. Like blood has poured down through all the channels that there were, and all the gutters and ports and etc. And the well that was water is now entirely filled with blood. Now, this is the first time either of you are seeing it.
Yeah.
So what you're seeing is a bunch of channels and rivers and corridors of blood that pour into a large well of blood.
You said this was the antechamber, right?
I mean, no, he passed through an antechamber to get here.
Okay.
Is
this more like a culmination of all the blood in this room, or is it like going somewhere else?
It's in this well. All of the channels go to this well. And this is not just a room at this point. You've now dropped into like the entire lower level. The entire lower level of the temple, the entire width of the temple is this one space. And it's made up of all these channels that route water, or in this case, blood, into this space.
I turned to Eric, son of Eric, and I said to him, "Are you still thirsty, friend?"
Yes, but not for that. That doesn't look... that's blood, isn't it?
So I'm gonna walk over to the well wreckage. Is it still filling, or is it full? Like, what can I get an idea of what's at the bottom?
It's exactly flush with the floor, so it is like it is full, but like it's perfectly flush with the floor.
Is the blood draining, but it's filling up at the same time?
Yeah. So before it was completely you weren't here before. When Stone was here, it was completely water and it was flush with the floor. And now all this blood has come, and so obviously it must be draining at the exact same rate that it's filling, because it's staying, because it stays flush with the floor. And now it is just blood as opposed to water.
Well, this must lead somewhere. If I was a braver man, I would swim to the bottom and see what's down there.
The well full of blood.
It is only blood, friend. Don't worry about it. I mean, there's no such thing as bloodborne diseases or anything like that, so...
What's a disease? I'm just kidding. I'm a doctor. I know all about diseases. There are bloodborne diseases. You can get all sorts of diseases from blood. Your blood can go bad. You can get poisoned blood. If you stay out late night in the turnip field while looking at the sun, in the middle of the night.
Your blood can curdle.
Yeah, it's no good, Ricardo. It's no good.
See, that is just you come from a land of fairy tales. I come from a land of actual facts, and we do not have, as you say, turnip fields.
What? You don't have turnips in your land?
No,
No.
we have.
What a terribly sad place.
What is a turnip anyway?
It's a delicious root vegetable.
We're just like surrounded by blood, just having this conversation about turnips.
Part of the ceiling is still in place as all of these stone things move away. By the way, your characters are handling a giant stone building that disassembles itself remarkably well.
I mean, I've seen elaborate lockboxes and shit like that, so I know the extent of human ingenuity, I guess, right? I don't know how you're
But on such a
processing
larger
it, Eric.
scale.
Dude, I fell off a ship, ended up on an island of red sand, made a deal with the witch who magically teleported me onto a ship,
True.
and now I can't drink anything without it turning to sand in my mouth.
No, you're
At this
jaded.
point,
You're jaded.
Eric, son of Eric, don't give no shits about no moving walls.
There is a section of temple that is still intact. It happens to be right over the blood well. Oh, yeah, that's a coincidence. From the ceiling over the blood well, what appear to be iron rods in a pattern start lowering into the blood well. And once they hit the blood starts boiling, like immediately.
Like
and
as in it's hot. The iron things are hot.
The iron doesn't appear to be hot. It's just when the iron touches the blood, for some reason, it starts to froth and boil. And the iron bars continue to lower. As they do, the section of the temple that is still above the blood well begins to open like a box. And in that section is the first thing you'll see is Bjorn and Stone, who are just now privy to the fact that the temple is disassembling and rearranging itself. As the grand hall that you were in, the walls fall away, and you can see the great mechanism of the temple moving around you.
So what? They're gonna fall into the well?
No, they're just in the part above the well, which is now disassembling itself for the first time.
Holding a dead body.
A very dead body. Unless he's magic.
Think we should do something about those rods, Ricardo?
Or help our friends?
Honestly, I'm rather curious to see what happens with it.
I mean,
Good.
it doesn't look like it's something good that will happen, Ricardo.
I mean, they could be good. You don't know this.
Well,
I mean, it's like the man who found penicillin. He had to put something in his mouth first, or the man that first sucked on the teat of a cow.
Now, I'm
Probably
gonna
more
I'm gonna
time.
stop you right there. Your world hasn't discovered penicillin yet, and also he
Okay, fair
didn't
enough.
discover penicillin by putting it in his mouth. He
No.
discovered penicillin by testing molds and other like he didn't put anything in his mouth
He forgot to follow proper lab safety procedures and seal a sample.
and discovered that mold had antibacterial.
All right, fine. I
properties.
got a better one for you. It's like that
Try
man
not to
on
give
my.
you example.
It's like the man on my aisle who invented Worcestershire sauce by accidentally leaving fish to ferment in a barrel for too long.
I think that's English. Otherwise,
Look, I'm taking it for Perezia, okay? So-
Berezia gets that one.
Tons of people. Now that one I'll give you. Tons of societies have discovered a bunch of things by leaving stuff out, and it turns
Exactly.
out that it's tasty later
So,
for some
who
reason.
knows?
This milk turns into cheese if you let it.
Exactly, right? So I for one, I'm
disgusting.
actually
That
fairly
was a
curious
Thridian
about this.
invention. Cheese was. Come on.
Okay, so
You're,
Thrin's
you're taking cheese.
Thrin's taking
The
cheese.
Floridians are taking cheese.
You have turnip.
I get turnips.
No, quick. No, Eugene, quick, jump on whiskey or wine or something.
Wine is definitely Peruzia.
We get vodka.
I hate to tell this to you,
we
but
invented-
there's only one freaking nation in our whole setup that has enough farmland to actually develop wine, and you're looking at them.
Yeah, but you have to climb it for the wine.
No,
Yes,
our vineyards are
we
vertical,
do.
man. We have vertical vineyards. So
It's true. We stole your wine, so you
Anyway,
can have that.
we can argue about
Back to the blood temple that you're
right. So we can argue about which fictional culture gets which real invention from our reality later.
look, we have Worcestershire sauce, okay? Like, jeez, we got it good over here.
Okay, so
We can't have Worcestershire
what is
sauce, you
the
have to call it something
distance
else.
between us and Stone and Bjorn?
And do we have visual?
So you guys will not, everybody can see each other. You guys are in the throne room or the altar room or whatever that is. It's disassembling itself. As it does, that room that you saw Captain Ratbeard and the other guy that you don't know the name of yet, and the record keeper who you don't know the name of yet, and their whole posse. They're 45 dudes. That whole section reveals itself. So for the first time, Ricardo, you can also see, hey, there's Captain Ratbeard and some other guy, and also that record keeper who was sick. And they're all on the spot directly above the iron rods that are lowering into the blood well. And as the room disassembles itself, the plinth that they are on, it appears to be exceptionally mechanical and clockworky, and like it stands out as being like extra weird and noticeable.
How thick are these iron rods?
The iron rods lowering into the blood well.
Yep.
Like
I would
this thick?
I'd say they're
About yay thick, you know, like just a bit thick, you know. About this thick, you know.
I mean, are they like this thick? This thick would be kind of perfect.
no, they're about as thick as
So-
again, your character has no context for this, but you as a person, they are as thick as street lights.
Oh, so like a lamp pole.
Like to also make this clear, the well is not like the size of a well. It's like a big, it's a big old pond
Basin type thing.
Yeah,
basin thing.
So, like,
James has a question.
I have a question.
Yep.
You're so quiet.
Well, I don't know why we have to like.
Why am I?
We have to stop everyone. From, shut up, James is saying something. What are you saying?
Because he's a soft-spoken, precious summer lad, and we're gonna let him talk.
No,
Summer
like I
lad.
said beforehand, I've got to be quiet because everyone else around me is asleep.
Oh, that's true.
and It's
Fuck
not really
those
fair
people.
me shouting. No,
No, don't
not
fuck
if I want to
them.
be homeless. Anyway, what I was going to say is, so this is all the mechanics are exposed.
A lot of it
Yes.
is, yeah.
So what would it take to throw a literal spanner in the works?
I would rather be on the pedestal that's lowering into this thing because something cool's going to happen to these guys.
So, I will point out a couple of things, and then we're going to actually move into outros because I don't think we have time to resolve this tonight. When we'll save it for next time, which will guarantee that none of you miss next week, because how could you possibly? So the first couple of questions that I'm going to answer is to clarify to Stone. You don't quite know how this is working. You can see that a bunch of the mechanics are rotted away and not functioning because the temple is so old. So large pieces of stone have fallen and aren't moving that should be. Some look like they're like listing when they're like, a lot of stuff already looks pretty broke. So there's no guarantee that the thing, whatever it is working in the first place. The other issue is for you personally, you guys are on top, and you're moving away from all of the mechanics and stuff that are on that plinth because that was the room that's in. Whereas Ricardo and Eugene are below. Ricardo and Eric are below, and they're near the blood well. They don't really have access to a bunch of mechanical things. They're looking at, I don't know, magic or something. They have no explanation at this point. Additionally, you guys will definitely have the capacity and ability to meet up. Whether that is Eric and Ricardo wishing to hop up onto this moving platform that
so is
Stone
is it lowering into the basin? Is that what's happening right now?
So let me try and describe exactly what this is, and this can be pretty hard.
Yeah.
I might decide to draw a little bit of it on the thing. So imagine first a long flat room, which is the room with all the channels. Okay. Put a large well in the center.
Got it.
Then, about 10 feet or 15 feet off of the ground, put in your mind, a giant stone cube that is directly over the center of the well. All right? Now, imagine that cube opened up like a tesseract or whatever, like it splits along the sides and opens up perfectly on all sides. That's what the room is doing. The iron bars are lowering out of the room, and the room is not lowering. But all of the walls of the cube, those are moving away, and those are what Stone and Bjorn are on. So that's moving away and towards you, whereas the center part, which is that part, has the weird plinth, and it's where the captain and his crew are.
Right. So basically they pulled a lever and they're standing on like an elevator that's moving down, and the rest of the floor on that floor
No,
is
that's
moving
what I'm
outwards.
trying to say again. The captain is not moving at all. Everything is moving around them. The captain and their spot aren't moving in any way.
Okay.
The chamber that Stone and Bjorn are in is moving away from where the captain is.
Right. The captain, basically, the captain and the plinth that they're standing on is the only thing in the temple not moving away. It's staying exactly where it is, directly over the blood well, and everything else in the entire temple is moving away from that.
Now,
basically,
out of curiosity, wreckage, from where I am, on the same floor as a blood well, what is would it be even physically possible for me to be able to climb up to that level?
There would definitely be things that you could do to get to the captain if that's your goal.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. I'll keep that in mind,
there'd be rolls, and there'd probably be ropes and grappling hooks. By the way, this is something else that I wanted to say. As the temple is peeling away, and basically all of the facade of the structure of the temple is peeling away, everything that used to be rooms is ceasing to be rooms, and so a ton of shit is falling down to this bottom level. Lots of bodies of dead people. Lots of still living people are making it to the bottom alive. All of their supplies and weapons are making it to the bottom, including the group that was up by the entrance. All of their shit. That cannon falls to the bottom, probably split and not functioning anymore. But maybe. And a whole bunch of other things that you didn't encounter. Basically, everything that was in any of these rooms that you could have encountered is falling to the bottom. Yeah, there's definitely going to be refuse for you to scavenge potential supplies from.
Okay.
A lot of it will come down to rolls, as whether or not you get a specific thing.
All right. Shit. Awesome.
So you're going to have a lot of supplies to work with. You have the capacity to meet up. You have no idea what's going on or if it's going to work, because a lot of it is already damaged. You don't know if you want to stop it or let it go or steal it or somehow take control of it. So let's move to outros, and also consider over the week or even here now before we hang up, discussing what you guys are going to want to do.
I'm a pee in the well.
Okay, he's gonna pee in the well.
Well, I mean, I'm. I'm probably most likely going to either try.
Point of order. This is something we have to decide. Actually, right now, it's very critical. Eric, can you pee?
I don't know. I'm not taking in any liquids.
Technically, his body would still produce urine. It wouldn't be a lot, but it would still work because his body would have to like.
Well, we don't know technically because there's no such thing as somebody who's never been able to drink before. It's magic.
Technically,
So-
actually, like.
Well, urine isn't water, is it? It is
That's what I'm
urine.
saying. It's urine.
a
Yeah, it's-
byproduct.
it's-
Oh well,
it's
I
a
mean,
byproduct.
But if you're not putting fluids in, how are you going to get?
I mean, he's
fluids
still
out?
eating meat and stuff like that. He just can't drink water, is what the problem is. So.
I guess.
Yeah, and he can never slake his thirst. He
There would
always
still be
thirst.
some liquid produced just from the foods and such I'm eating.
Yeah, like if he
But-
eats an apple, it's not like it's going to turn to ash, and it's still.
It
like,
would
got
definitely
liquid.
not be the satisfying stream that I'm looking for.
I don't know. I guess I'm going to have to think on this ruling about
Because
whether or
if
not
that's the
Eric can pee
case-
anymore.
If that's the case, he wouldn't be able to produce saliva either. You know, like
Maybe he can't though.
Talking and blinking and crying would all be very difficult.
Yeah, it's possible that he can't do any of those things. It's something they have to think about. Like he's being like obviously he's dying of thirst. Like the magic
not
is
dying.
preventing him from drinking and also preventing him from dying of thirst.
well, that means
So-
technically, if you drink the blood, it'll all turn to ash, and then the shit will not work.
Problem solved.
Problem solved.
I believe
jump in with your
I
mouth
believe
open.
we asked the question of what happens if you fall in the ocean with your mouth
And he
open. If you just
opens his mouth.
start converting the ocean into ash.
I would die by being buried in sand.
Yeah. Anyway, right. So, you were saying other people were saying things before the outros.
I'll probably try and like either knock them off or stand on there because, that's some curious magic going on right there.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, what I'll probably do with Ricardo, since I suspect he will probably back me on this one, is call for Bjorn and Stone to join us and try to climb up to where the captain is, because I want to stab that guy in the face real bad. Real bad.
Yeah. But yeah, that's anyone else got any plans?
Like I said, I want to literally throw the proverbial spanner in the works to make it all just come crashing down.
Throw the
around
dude in there?
captain.
I mean, you do have a big fat man.
Yeah, but whether we'll
Would it be
able to-
possible to, if the cannon is working, take a shot up there?
If the
Stone's a big
cannon is
dude.
working, then absolutely the group of you
Is there
could.
any,
There's-
is there any barrels
Soften
of
them up a bit.
gunpowder?
Barrels
Pardon?
of gunpowder. Yeah.
Is there any barrels of gunpowder?
That was my.
You said there was lots of loot coming down, so
Well, so yeah, like whether or not there are barrels and barrels of gunpowder is certainly a question. There is, I will say that the cannon fell with at least enough to shoot it once and one shot. Whether or not it is intact is not known either. These are all things that you'll have to make rolls for to figure out, like inspection, repairs, scavenge, notice rolls to see if there's enough gunpowder. All the while, the whole thing will still be going. So this is definitely like, I definitely want to give you time to think about what your, maybe not in character planning, but definitely what your intended objectives are, so that you have a clear head going into it next week. Additionally, I'm going to say this now. Please nobody miss next week, or I don't know if I'll go up, because you're all here. It's a big climax. I don't know that I can do the final boss and also some of the intended consequences of that scene with somebody missing. So no promises that the show can go up if somebody's missing.
Prylor.
Prylor.
Whoa.
Prylor.
hey,
Sorry,
All
guys. Chaos over. Bye. Nah, it's all good.
Does anybody else have any clarifying questions before we go to outros?
No. I hope we get 3 experience points from this session.
we can go
because-
another hour, right?
This
Just,
session?
you know,
Hell no,
finish
you're
up.
not getting 3 experience points for this
I mean,
session.
I
Next
haven't
session.
I haven't gotten any experience points for any of the
You're
sessions.
at 2.
You're at you're at 2. Because you were here for 2 episodes.
So every 5 points.
Dave
gives you-
and Prylor are at 3. Each of you is going to get another one now.
Why do I have XP/rank 7 novice?
No, wait, no. Hold on a second. You're not at 3. You're now at 3. So everybody is now at 3 except for James, who's at 2. There we go. That's what it is.
Thanks.
Sorry, it's because you missed that one episode. You get 1 XP for every session you're here for, and then if you accomplish something amazing, you get an additional XP.
Okay, cool. Okay.
So, Everyone is currently at 3, except for James, who's at 2.
So did we start with XP? Because, like I said, on the
I just set it to
XP
3. We
rank
had
thing,
this. We had this discussion in the break.
We did have
basically.
this discussion while you were gone on,
Sorry.
and we were So we've clarified that everybody's at 3 right now.
Yeah, because you get an advance for every 5 ranks, 5 XP you get, and then for every 20 you get, you go up a rank essentially.
Okay.
So basically, you get 4 for every rank you go up. So we're starting at 7, which was a good idea aside from the fact that we missed out on a rank.
Right. So we're starting at 0 instead.
Advance, yeah.
And we're going to go up from 0, and probably after you resolve this boss encounter, more like climax encounter, you will certainly get more than 1, at least 2, maybe even 3 if things go really well. And then you should all be able to advance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Savage Worlds is a strange thing. It kind of reminds me a little bit of how... Because basically there's one in there that you can only get once per rank, but everything else, because there's 5 things you can do, and you get 4 per rank, and you can only get a level advancement, an attribute advancement once per rank, and then the rest of the stuff you can get as many times as you want. So I mean, like for example, you can gain a new edge, and edges are really really good. Like there's one in there called MacGyver, which would, allow you to like literally
Use duct tape.
MacGyver things. So that seems like a perfect fucking like Bajon fucking edge, by the way. Like, but yeah. Anyways, let's do some shout outs and wrap this bitch up. Eugene, welcome.
Hi. I'm Eugene. You can find me at twitch.tv/Eugene, or on Twitter at DSEugene. Yeah, I was a little bit late. Sorry about that. It's okay. They're all consummate professionals and carried on without me, as I expected. I'm sure it was a wonderful episode before I showed up and got them sidetracked talking about frogs and shit. Anyway, that's me. Thanks.
All right, Prilo, what up?
Yo. You can follow me at Pryler on Twitch and Pryler_TV on Twitter. I play video games. Yeah.
Nice.
And I also do role-playing games on other people's channels. So if you enjoy that, I will tweet out when I go on their channels and when I go live. So make sure you follow my Twitter and my Twitch. So, yeah. And I found out that leopard frogs can eat crabs.
Yeah, that's fucking terrifying.
Yeah.
When they to you scary.
Yep.
Speaking about scary, let's talk about
For
James.
fuck's sake.
What else?
Rubbish and scary. Brilliant. Hi, I'm James.
Scary
Corp.
good.
I'm James Corp. Obviously, I play Stone on here, and I'll be appearing again at the crack of whatever fucking ungodly time tomorrow night as well for Shadowrun.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be fun.
Other than that, you'll be able to see me playing on my Twitch channel RPGs. We start our first one tomorrow at 8 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time.
What is this one?
That will be Dungeons and Dragons 3.5.
Okay, what's the big hook?
Not sure yet. Not sure. I'm not GMing. I'm playing, so that's down to the GM. Am I mumbling? Am I really quiet?
Yeah,
Sorry.
it's pretty quiet.
Really quiet.
Other than that, more games will be starting next week. So Sunday we've got Star Trek at 8 p.m. GMT. We're sort of temperamental about this as well because it seems to be a bit of a balls up in the system. But hey,
what system is it? What's the actual system?
It uses it's Modiphius's 2D20 system, and they seem to have there's lots of problems with the core mechanics are fine.
2D20.
And you have to roll below a certain target number rather than rolling over.
That sounds like some fucking like Warhammer 40k bullshit.
It's a good system. The core mechanics are really good. It just seems they may have buggered up.
I don't believe you.
Other than that, Monday, have we got something starting on Monday? 7th Sea starts on Monday. 7th Sea first edition. That's at no, it's Tuesday. Tuesday.
First edition.
Tuesday at 12 a.m. GMT. So that will be about whatever time that is in American times.
Mm-hmm.
And then on the Wednesday at 12 o'clock, we're not starting Exalted until the week after, so it gives me just an extra bit of time to read a stupid-sized book that's about that big. And then, and that will be it. That will be our cycle next week. So come along and check it out if you enjoyed RPGs of different types of things.
Different types of things. All right, guys. The last person we need to talk about is none other than our game master, Dr. Wreckage.
Hi. If you like my game mastering, please come back on Monday for LA at Night. Bye.
Perfect. All right, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed tonight's episode of Dead Man's Crest. It is turning into a weekly game. Can't believe that shit. I know, it's great. So 2018 is going to be a good year. This week we have a lot of cool stuff going on. We have Surge tomorrow. Board Games with Beta Bros on Friday. Wreckage, are you going to be around for that?
Probably not.
Probably not. All right. Well, we'll be looking for a fourth to finish our fucking at least start doing the remainder of our whatever that fucking game is.
Pandemic
Legacy. Thank you. That's the word I'm looking for. And then on Sunday we start our very first episode of Whiskers and Whiskey Academy Tales. That game is gonna be fucking great. It's gonna be fucking like Hogwarts meets Mouse Guard. It's gonna be so good.
Sounds pretty cool. What's the cast you got?
Myself, Zippy, Kika, and a new guy who does Elven Tower. He does a bunch of like lore-based Patreon art stuff things, I think, was what he does. So it's pretty cool. Yeah.
Who's running?
Eric Vulgaris.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he loves Mouse Guard.
It's the same. It's like the whole same group of people, like largely, as has been in that slot for a while now. They just keep moving on to a new.
Yeah, we did Mouse Guard, and now we did Torchbearer, and now we're back for season 2 of Mouse Guard. So yeah, should be good.
Do you run any 5e games or any just Dungeon and Dragon games?
We used to, but like Dungeons and Dragons for me is
you're
like a little...
you're burnt out on it, and you told me that. Like,
yeah, we've had vanilla
like
D&D several times, and we will have vanilla D&D again.
That stuff, yeah, it will come back. It always turns into a fucking comedy show. Like, I don't know what it is with Dungeons and Dragons, but Dungeons and Dragons just always turns into like a joke show. So
if your rule system is I mean, like, it's hard to. Dungeons and Dragons doesn't inspire its rules specifically don't inspire a huge amount of like intense, like passionate role playing.
No. And
this channel in general gravitates towards comedy.
Yeah.
So if the rules don't pull us towards like, you know,
I mean, like, there's a lot of comedy in this game and in Shadowrun.
Right.
So
no, you don't understand.
It's even worse.
You don't understand.
Or
like,
better.
For all the 5e games that we've run, I swear to God, it's been the funniest fucking games ever. Outside of, say, I think the ultimate funniest game we've ever run has to be Void Barons by a long shot. That was just hysterical. But the last game that we ran...
Did you have one with Floof?
Yeah, Floof was...
Yeah, I think I caught the end of that.
Floof was in both...
There was like a spider or something, and someone was on top of him and slicing him and stuff.
Yeah, no. Floof was in both.
Void Barons was a super serious exploration of everything the Warhammer 40k universe had to offer, piloted by the most serious captain the Warhammer 40k universe has ever seen.
Now, see, the first half of your statement was sarcastic, but the second half was 100%.
So let me give you an idea of what happened in the 5e game there, Prylor. Basically, I turned into we were level 10 characters. I turned into a cow, and I was still much better than the NPCs that we were fighting because I was a level 10 cow. Like, you know, like you can't make that shit up, man. That's just like. But yeah,
that's funny though. That's hilarious. I like that.
I would love to try and cut my teeth at running a 5e game one day because of just how like generic and shit that is. Like you could get away with so much crap. Like, but I don't know. It would have to be a pretty interesting world for me to do anything like that. But yeah.
Maybe it's because I'm newer to it, but that's pretty much what got me into RPing. Was that. So and it was less than a year ago. So
yeah, 5e
I'm still new to it. That's why it probably still has a pull for me.
The 5e for me needs to have a lot of like. You need to have a lot of combat encounters to make that interesting. But
yeah.
Polymorph self, dragon, mass haste, eat everyone.
Yeah, I was reading up some way to break the game very easily is like exist, but like just like completely like to where the dungeon master can't really do anything is like you cast what is it when you like cast familiar spirit or whatever and then do fairies and then they can polymorph your whole group into T-Rexes or whatever you want and just destroy everything and you can't really do anything about it. So I was like, that's kind of weird that things like that exist, but
it's not. I mean, honestly, D&D is designed. D&D is a system that is designed around people not being ridiculously min-maxy because if you know the system and are min-maxy, you will destroy the system because it's not designed to handle it. It just isn't.
Yeah, I was thinking about it, and then the way, in my opinion, that Dave likes to play a lot is min-maxing and getting the most out of his character.
He's very good at actually reading books.
Yeah.
I would like to go to bed now.
All right, so we'll wrap it up. But
sorry, we can talk, I guess, off.
Yeah. So, guys, thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. We will see you later for the daily stream, and until then, have a good night. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.